Greetings, imagination connoisseurs. Once again, it is I, your Duke of Dope Discourse, Robert Meyer Burnett. I invite you to watch and listen to the Designing Hollywood podcast, brought to you by Martika Ibarra and the great, legendary Hollywood costume designer, Marilyn Vance. I am afforded the wonderful opportunity of co-hosting the show. If you are interested in the magic of Hollywood, the design of Hollywood, the clothes of Hollywood, watch the Designing Hollywood podcast, available wherever you get your podcasts from, or find the video version on YouTube. That's right, the Designing Hollywood podcast. Why would you ever want to miss it? Especially if you love the movies.
Hello, and welcome to Midnight Metal. Robert Meyer Burnett and Dave Parker, they're fucking metal. Midnight Metal, Midnight Metal, Midnight Metal.
Well, greetings, imagination connoisseurs. I can't believe we're back. It's another episode of Midnight Metal. For those of you who don't know, we're going to be doing Midnight Metal once a month. And of course, there's only one person I can do this show with. One man who brings the metal, who brings the noise better than anyone else I know. Please give it up for my co-host. I don't know. How can I introduce him? What more can I say about this man? He is a writer, a director, an editor, a filmmaker par excellence, a man who just informed me that he has the new 2-disc score from Perez Sarabande for The Crow, which, by the way, he will tell you is one of his favorite movies of all time. You know him. You love him. Put your hands together. I know we can't hear it, but I want you to do it anyway. Mr. Dave Parker. Dave Parker, welcome back to Midnight Metal. And it's been a long time since I've asked anyone this, Dave. But are you feeling metal? Are you fucking feeling metal, Dave? Are you feeling metal?
Dude, dog will hunt. Come on, baby.
wait. This Dog will hunt.
Dog will hunt. Chop Talk from Chainsaw 2. Rob.
I was like, are we going? I thought you said we didn't want to jump into it right away.
No, but we can jump into that. The great Bill Moseley and Chop Talk.
Bill Moseley, one of the unsung sequels of all time, frankly.
Absolutely. Dude, of course I'm feeling metal. I bring the metal. I bring it to you.
You bring the metal.
Bring it to you, to all of you. And I can hear the clapping, and I can hear when this goes up too. I can hear that. I can hear it.
Even if it's under the table?
Finely tuned hearing.
Well, it's good to have you back.
And tinnitus. It's good to be back. It's good to be back.
You don't have tinnitus.
No.
Shatner does, and he turns 91 next month.
Do you think he'll get a new wig?
He doesn't have a
for
wig.
his birthday.
What are you talking about? He's had, come on.
That's a lot of transplants there. Anyway, it's great to be back. How are you?
I am well. Things are good.
You are busier than ever.
Dude, busier than ever. Driving 120 miles a day to be on the John Campea show.
Puts a lot of miles on that Rolls Royce you got there.
Yeah, it's a Rolls Royce. I'm rolling. No, I'm rolling a Prius, dude. Come on.
I thought you were doing a jetpack.
I was, but the jetpack doesn't carry enough fuel to go 60 miles there and 60 miles back. I need an electric jetpack or a hybrid jetpack.
I guess so. I don't know. I guess it's just, that I'm just used to seeing flames come out of your ass. So
I know it's terrible. It's
he's on fire, people.
At least it powered me up. Gas powered. Even I'm turning into a hybrid.
You are full of gas, that's for sure. Hot air and gas.
That much is certain. So, Dave, you said, how are you doing, by the way? How are things with you?
I'm surviving, Rob. I'm hanging in there. We live in crazy times.
We do.
We're not getting political here, but we live in crazy times. Who knows what's going to go on? So fucking live it up, people. This might be the last time. You ever get a chance to.
That's a
No, it's hopeful though. It's hopeful. Go out there. Go get crazy. Raise the roof.
I agree. Or work hard.
Work hard, play hard.
Huh.
Basically, just be hard.
Charlie the Unicorn says 120 miles. Suck it up, Buttercup. Yeah, but remember, I'm coming off of 2 years of sitting in the garage all day. Actually, I kind of like it. I really enjoy the drive. It's against traffic, so I listen to NPR. I stop and get what's now called the Burnett at Starbucks every morning.
How classy.
Yeah,
yes, the Burnett. The Burnett is what, like, a greasy filled egg sandwich or something.
Well, the Burnett is that.
There is good for your arteries there,
smoked
pal.
bacon sandwich, but I also get a venti black iced tea unsweetened, and I get a venti. That's just the size, and I get a venti drip, not mocha, not frappuccino, just a venti drip with 2 Splendas and some cream.
Jeez, he spends 2 Splendas and cream. Oh my God, your cardiologist is going to field day with you someday.
Well, what are you going to do?
If
you
said
lucky. Live it up, because
I'm telling you, live it up. I mean, but now that I should have charged you more, knowing that you drop that kind of coin every morning on your Fenties.
Well, it depends. It's really it's $11 in the morning.
Holy shit!
That's breakfast, and that's that lasts me the day.
You should be fasting. You shouldn't be having breakfast. Come on.
I fast. I don't have dinners usually.
Oh no! Well, you're having dinner right now. It's in that glass in front of you.
No. This is not what it appears to be. No. I've been doing these late night shows drug free, Dave.
Jesus.
I know.
Jesus. God. Well, maybe when you're musing, you can do that.
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to get all like I have to watch my P's and Q's now.
That's true.
I'm more beholden to others.
They're watching. They're listening.
They are watching, and I don't want to be canceled again.
Well, you never really got canceled because you refused to be canceled.
It's true. I do refuse to be canceled.
So
but that's really because I'm a nice guy. At the end of the day.
Yes,
it's true.
So
yeah,
Rob. A couple things I want to bring up before we get into this topic, which is near and dear to my heart, and I know yours.
And my heart too.
One, did you know that Friday, the first album in 7 years from the Scorpions dropped?
I did not. And what is the album called, Dave?
Let me tell you. I have to bring that up. That I wasn't. It is called Rock Believer.
Rock Believer.
Rock Believer. So that dropped.
Wow.
Also, I discovered a new band. Just looking around at things, and they're fucking awesome, dude. They're called Bloodywood. And before you think that they're some sort of like, blood and guts horror metal band, they're not. They are what is described as Indian folk metal, but it is pure metal. It is. I don't know where the folk part comes in, except for traditional Indian instruments.
Are we talking indigenous First Peoples?
No, India.
India.
From India.
Indian folk metal, and they're called what again?
Bloodywood.
Bloodywood. I like
and
this.
their
instead
first,
of Bollywood, Bloodywood.
Right, and their first album, which I bought, called Rock Shock, has just been released, and it is fucking awesome.
Well, maybe we should get Bloodywood to come on the show.
It is so cool, and there's a mix of it's very heavy metal music mixed with traditional Indian instruments at times, and
so it's Ravi Shankar meets like
kind of. You have to hear it. It's really really unique. You have to. There's 2 lead singers, and they both sing and kind of rap really fast. Wow. I don't know if that's exactly the way it's the proper terminology for it, because I'm kind of a moron, but it's really unique. But the the riffs and the guitar work and everything, and even the mixture of traditional Indian instruments is really cool. And sometimes they sing in English, and sometimes they sing in
Hindi.
Yes. So I really suggest checking that out.
That's really cool, dude. I love that we're breaking this kind of stuff on.
I just love finding, it's like, I like Chaosium. I just happen to, be scrolling around through YouTube and the new videos that drop, because I'm also like looking at what are people doing for videos now when they don't actually do they have budgets? What are they doing? So I'm sort of like,
are they actually playing instruments? It's nice to hear that people are playing instruments. Wow.
And they are. Yeah. So that's pretty cool. Speaking of Chaosium, today is my buddy CK's birthday.
Wow.
So, yep, he had a little shindig party last night, and then he's probably recovering this morning.
That's good. That's good. Europe's in a little bit of chaosium right now.
That is true, and they are working on. They did Unreal, and they are recording another song now. They're like just trying to keep it viable until they can go on tour.
Yeah,
so
that's good.
So they're getting ready to record a new song, which is maybe I've gotten a preview at least to a little bit about what it's about. It's pretty cool.
If they did do a tour and came to the U.S., it'd be cool to do a documentary about that.
Oh, yeah, I think so. I think if they came to the U.S. and they came around this area, which definitely would be a stop, I have a feeling that there's a couple of things that might happen.
That's good.
So that's going on. Before we get into the chainsaw topic, so also Friday dropped, which I'm very excited about. Waxwork Records dropped for sale a double LP of the score for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
Really?
Yes, finally.
Dude, we live in amazing times, do we not? I mean, the stuff that we're able to get,
it's incredible.
It's incredible.
And it's beautiful. I mean, it's a gatefold, open up 2 LP. It looks amazing. So I had to order that right away. Also this week, Happy Alligator Week.
You know what? Since you brought it up, Dave, now, I don't want to give away everything on, let's see, where is it?
Oh yeah, of course, because you have a show tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't want to give it up, but there were 2 things. I mean, you know what? I got to tell you, to be honest, I was not going to get this amazing 4K 3-disc set.
It's beautiful.
I mean,
I've already watched it. It's gorgeous. I haven't watched the extras yet, but
you know what? This is something I couldn't.
It's a great movie, though. That's the other thing. It's a really good movie. It's really,
and it should be perpetually shown on a double feature with Crawl.
Yes. I mean, for sure.
In terms of
that would be a great double bill. Those are probably the 2 best.
2 best alligator movies. You know,
but is Crawl alligators or crocodiles? It still doesn't matter. So actually, the perfect triple.
That's actually a good question, to be honest.
The perfect triple feature would be Alligator, Rogue from Greg McLean, which is an awesome fucking movie.
You're right. That is a good movie.
And Crawl. Though there are other ones. Blackwater, I think, is one that's another one that's really good too.
Cam, I'm also gonna. It's fixed, and I know it's not anyone's favorite, but our love of John Carpenter. I had to get this too. Come on.
Okay, see, I saw that today at Best Buy, but I didn't buy it because I was wondering because
they fixed it. This is the fixed version.
That's how do you know it's the fixed version?
Because they pulled the other ones and they. This is the re-release, so it's fixed. This is the fixed version.
Dude, I'll get it. I love it. I love that movie.
I had to get it. And you know what else? No, I can't show anymore because I don't want.
Right. Well, I'm sure you got the Howling, which I haven't gotten yet.
Well, I have this Howling. I got.
Oh, you know what, Dan Blackroyd. Oh yeah, that's right. Dan Blackroyd, you're right. Lake Placid is another great one.
Lake Placid is great. No, I got this 6 months ago, I think.
Yes,
This is
yeah. And it's the same transfer as the Scream
it's the
Factory
same,
one.
but I just I have to
But
get
you
all
got
these
the
Studio
yeah,
Canal box set
you got
stuff.
well, they're beautiful. So
There, I had to get it.
so
And
that's cool.
I ordered. Did you? By the way, you've got your 3D set. Did you get this? By the way, did you get this?
No, I got the Dracula one. I didn't get that. But the nice thing is on Shudder, they have the 3D version available to watch on Shudder as well.
Oh, they do. Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool.
Hauser, your father, there is nothing wrong with Escape from LA except that they sped up the post too much where the effects could not be refined the way they should be.
Yeah, I mean, that's the real problem.
If the visual effects were better, that movie would probably be looked in a better light. I unabashedly, it's not Escape from New York, but I love the movie.
It's got a lot of
the basketball sequence is awesome.
Yes, and Cuervo Jones. I mean, look
Cuervo Jones.
It's just a crazy movie. Look, everyone got paid,
and Hershey Las Palmas, man.
Yeah, it's
Pam Grier as a trans man way before that was hip.
Yeah, I mean, can you Escape from LA, the most woke movie you didn't know was woke?
That's right.
Talk about inclusion. And Bruce Campbell is the surgeon to the stars.
He was the Surgeon General of Beverly Hills.
The Surgeon General. I mean, now that I think about it, I mean, it's. I really did maybe.
It's just so much fun, and the opening with the earthquake and everything, which we of course lived through, basically, is that stuff. Those effects are really well done.
Yeah, there's good stuff. There's good. It's just they went all in with their bad CG. Let's have a submarine that's going underwater, which at that time they weren't exactly.
But Jaws was in it.
Yeah,
Jaws was in it. How about hang gliding to the Magic Kingdom?
Oh yeah, no. Anyway, Dave, we're here to talk about. Now, I have to say,
we're here. Okay, now you and I have not talked about the new movie.
No,
we have not talked about this new movie yet.
Okay,
so
I'm
really excited about this.
I wanted to say that you suggested this topic almost like a month ago. You said, "Let's do Midnight Metal once a month." I said, "Okay,"
yep.
And you said we hadn't seen the movie yet, and because it was coming out, and you suggested this topic. We had to push it a week.
Yeah,
but it was your idea, which I think is a really good idea because I have strong feelings about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, we both have different connections to it in ways, personal connections. Where I mean, yours in some ways let the audience decide if it's a more significant one. You had more of a hand in the making of one of them than I certainly did. But then I've had an experience that very few people have had. So
yes,
connected with with Chainsaw.
Well, I guess since you brought it up for people who don't know, the first movie I ever worked on was Leatherface, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3. The Saw is family.
That's right.
And I was the art department production assistant. So it was literally right after I finished up at USC. I got this job and started almost immediately, which is pretty unheard of.
Right.
But so for those of you who don't know, a production assistant is low man on the totem pole or low person on the totem pole.
Yeah, it used to be known as a gopher because it would be like, you go for this, go for that.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, what's interesting about the art department is that on a movie like Texas Chainsaw, we didn't shoot on any standing sets. That means no sound stages.
Right.
And the art department was in charge of building two sets. One was a gas station set that was up. We were shooting in Valencia where Magic Mountain is. And then there was the big farmhouse set where most of the action takes place. And we had to build a body pit, and we had to build this big farmhouse that was built from scratch. And what was fun for me was I was not just pushing papers or anything. My first day on the job, and Mick Strawn was the production designer, who was
hell of a nice guy,
really nice guy, and Rebecca Carriaga was the art director. And so I come in this environment, and they the first day I'm working there, they give me the keys to a Ford Econoline van and a Ford Dually pickup, the pickups that are big that have two double up wheels in the back. I get handed $10,000 and in cash and a list. And they say, okay, don't come back. This is my first day on the job. I'm there at 7 a.m. And they're like, here's money, here's the list. Don't come back until you have everything.
You
on
have the
this
whole
list.
list, yeah.
Yeah.
You have everything on it.
There was no, I mean, there's no asking questions. This was a test. It was a
Right.
test. You know, it was a test. It's first day. We're still a ways away from shooting. It's a test. And one of the things on this list was don't mess with Texas bumper stickers.
Right.
And like, this is pre-internet. This is, for those of you
Right.
who put
This
it in
is like-
context, it's the summer of 1989. It was the summer that the Beastie Boys album Paul's Boutique came out.
Right.
And it was, which I listened to the entire time. I was obsessed with that record. I still am. So you had to think, and I was given a lot of creative leeway, like the things they told me to buy, where they're like, you know, like in a butcher's thing, when you have big slabs of meat, like maybe one of those hanging things with a green button and a red button, you can lift things.
Yeah,
I mean, they
yeah,
gave me so it was a really creative job. And Mike DeLuca, who's become a big producer, was one of the executives on it. It was New Line coming off.
I think that was his first producing thing.
Yeah,
his
I think
first produced movie as a producer.
And the idea was that Texas Chainsaw was going to replace Nightmare on Elm Street, like as their new big franchise.
It was going to be. Yeah, they were trying to Freddyize him.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying to Freddyize Leatherface in the sense of being a franchise. Yeah,
Which was if I may say so, the dumbest idea possible. And directing this movie was a man named Jeff Burr, who turned out to be one of the nicest people ever. And it was my first experience with a movie director. And I, of course, grew up revering movie directors. And I had the greatest experience. He was so kind to me and so nice to me. And it was so great to watch him work. And I had so much fun. And that meant a lot. And then, of course, I also met our very good friend now, a man that I've employed, a man that I've worked with, a man that we actually had write a script that you directed, Dave.
really?
Really?
I forget.
I
Which
know.
one?
It's called The Hills Run Red. And by the way, if you like physical media, if I dare say so myself, The Hills Run Red Blu-ray is one of the most
Obnoxious, packed things.
Yeah,
ever.
I thought the DVD for Free Enterprise was the most self-indulgent DVD package ever made, but no. The special feature, but I would say the special features are actually really good. So pick it up.
It's worth buying the disc even if you don't like the movie.
Yeah, the movie's
But
only about 83 minutes.
Oh yeah, Lean and Mean, which
and the
is
special features are 8.5 hours
tonight.
long. So there you go.
Well,
But so I worked on this film, and so my first day, I'll tell you quickly. I thought to myself, where the hell am I going to get "Don't mess with Texas" bumper stickers in California? Where would they even sell those? And I was like, oh, and I was like a truck stop. So I drove up the freeway past where we were making the gas station, and I went to this huge truck stop. And it was one of those truck stops where it had overnight rooms you could rent and stuff. In the gift, those kinds of
yeah, that's how I paid my way out here.
It was a rough trade truck stop. But so I went in there, and they had 3 different kinds of "Don't mess with Texas" bumper stickers. So I bought all of them. I bought all of them because for those of you who might find yourselves working in an art department, never get one of anything. Never.
No, you have to get multiples.
Always get multiples. Never get one. So I bought all this. But then I had to go down to like Compton and get paint. And I drove all over the city. I even had to go to the A1 Globe building and pick up a bunch of stuff. They were still filming Nightmare on Elm Street 5, The Dream Child.
Right.
Which I was going back and forth for that to that set for a while, which was totally fun. I watched them shoot this motorcycle gag. It's my first day on the job. I'm like, fuck, Hollywood rules. And so I go back, and they kept me. They said, okay, kid, come back tomorrow.
That's great. And it's funny too. Okay, so that was Rob's connection to Chainsaw. But funny enough, we had very similar beginnings because my first job on a film ever was for Jeff Burr, who hired me personally. And it was I was the art department assistant. I wasn't even a PA. It was in the art. I was props assistant. So I helped with all the props and everything, thanks to Jeff. And, before that, when I was at USC, I set up a screening, and I met Dave Scow at that screening. So we go back to the point where, like, right around the time that they were probably filming Chainsaw or just had gotten done. And I was at the infamous Burbank preview screening of Leatherface. That's when the shit hit the fan afterwards.
Now, why don't you tell people, since we have this personal connection, we'll go back to the original Chainsaw, but what happened? Like, what happened with Leatherface Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 is what I thought was going to happen to it when we were making it. I'm like, I don't think they quite understand. This is not going to work. It's not Freddy.
No.
So tell the folks at home, Dave, what happened after the first screening of Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre?
Well, they got really offended because Jeff had actually done his job well and made this really kind of intense, brutal movie. And then it was basically said to him, there's no fucking way we're releasing this shit like this, which is funny when you consider how much screen violence has now come to pass. Now that movie is tame in a lot of ways.
Well, especially the release version.
Right. And so it went through this process of going through to the MPAA and delaying its release. It went to the MPAA 9 times until it could get its R rating. 9 times.
That's how many times Ferris Bueller was absent.
9 times. And and it really obviously was a very tough thing for Jeff as a director, as it would anyone, because he's being hired to make this movie that's intense. The original script that Dave Scow wrote that changed drastically during the making of this movie was even weirder and crazier than
still
what they made.
I got to bring it up. My favorite line of dialogue, in any movie ever that never made it to the screen, which was one of the characters was talking to another one and said, "Suck the snotty end of my fuck stick, gringo piss." The snotty end of my fuck stick. Now, if you know what, seldom has something.
We gotta bring that line back in something.
I think so. Suck the snotty end of my fuck stick.
I think it's time. I think the time is now.
Man, that's revolting.
But again, that's what you paid for.
It was in the comic, though.
It's called Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
It was called, and no, let me ask you this. So let me take you back.
Yeah.
When was the very first time you ever saw Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original?
Okay, so I'll do this quickly, but there is a whole story with Texas Chainsaw Massacre and me and my fascination with it, which was early on. My oldest brother, he saw the movie in college, and the thing was, he was in a college theater where they were showing it. This isn't when it opened, but maybe a couple of years after, and they were showing the movie, and so it was a college theater. It's the 70s. Everyone's getting high. There's smoke everywhere and everything, and someone went into the theater and started a chainsaw, and caused a stampede out of the theater. And this is corroborated by the very famous comic book artist Steve Bissette, who was at the college at that time, and he goes, "I remember that. I absolutely remember when that happened." So he was at the college at the same time my brother was. So my brother, wanting to freak me out, would tell me the story of Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and like, "Oh, there's meat hooks and they go through people, and it's so bloody, it's so gross, it's the grossest thing ever." And my mother, and this was right at the cusp of the VHS, the home video era.
Mm-hmm.
So it had been released by Media Home Video, I think, at the time, or Meta, Magnet, or it was Magnet, one of them. Anyway, it was on VHS.
Yeah,
it was on VHS. So, so I started, like, in '83 renting things like crazy, and renting all this horror stuff. And she would let me, but she would not let me rent the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. She refused. She would never let me get it until one weekend when she went out of town, and I made a beeline to the video store and rented that sucker. And so that was my first. I was watching it on VHS in the middle of the day. I remember this vividly. I by myself, middle of the day, and I had never been that terrified in my life. It was profound. It was like I'd never seen anything this powerful.
By the way, it was Wizard. That's what I thought. It was
Wizard.
Video
Okay, it was not.
Which is a Charlie Band company. So it's Mita was and Media was too. So
right. Obviously, we all know it's not a bloody movie at all, but it's but you know, because I watched that I think before I watched The Exorcist, and it doesn't matter because they're right for me. They're right on the level of power of what cinema is, and it a profound effect. It's such a visceral experience. Watching that movie,
no, but
for the first time, it's just absolutely
so.
It's madness captured on celluloid.
Yeah, I have to say my first time that I saw Texas Chainsaw. So when I was 13, I got a VCR for my bar mitzvah. I got an RCA VFT 625, and I was the first kid on the block to have a VCR. And there was a store. From what I understand, it was the second video store in the United States. It was called Video Space. Mm-hmm. And me with my 13-year-old kid with my bar mitzvah money, the first thing I ever bought was Halloween. The first Halloween on Mita, not Media, but Mita. So when I got my parents for my bar mitzvah bought me, because it was $56, it was $54.95.
Which is amazing because they were actually usually more.
Yeah, but Mita was relatively cheaper as far as pre-recorded. So I got that, and I got a Dogtown. I got the first skateboard that I ever put together
from
myself.
Dogtown.
Yeah, I got a Dogtown deck. I had Kryptonic at that time 65 millimeter wheels and Tracker X track trucks.
Were they called Kryptonic because they were green?
No. These were actually red. Okay. Kryptonic was a brand.
A brand right. Wheels. I just wondered.
Oh no, and it was fun because you put it together yourself. You went into the store, and these were like the high end skateboard shops.
Right.
And these were not the skateboards you see now. The wheels were bigger, and these were things you'd ride to school and stuff. So it was, and it was the end of my 7th grade year. Now. I was a horror fanatic, but I had never, and I'd seen Dawn of the Dead in the theater and stuff like that, but I'd never seen Texas Chainsaw. I hadn't been able to see it. So I go into Video Space, and there were these two guys that worked there. There was this guy named Bud Warner and this guy named Steve Pitcher. And Bud Warner, he always looked a little off to me. Like he always wore like a trench coat, and he had this close cropped hair, and he kind of talked fast, like he'd done a lot of blow or whatever. But he knew everything about horror films. And then Steve Pitcher was more of a mild-mannered, nice, nerdy guy, but also knew a lot. And Bud Warner, I started going in and just hanging out in this video store. Like I'd take the bus there and go there, and
they were your Tarantino.
I wouldn't leave, And then they finally gave me a job, and then Bud Warner's like, kid, Rob, or call me. I'm Bob
listening.
Then. Bob,
yeah, kid.
Why don't you should come to my house, and I'm going to show you some movies. And he showed me he had, I don't know where he got them. He had a vast collection of bootleg VHSs.
Okay.
And so he showed me a double feature of Jerry Gross's I Drink Your Blood and Texas Chainsaw. And those are the two movies that I saw. We started with Texas Chainsaw. And so it was already a shitty copy of Texas Chainsaw because it was a VHS. He had a projector, an early projector. And the grunginess of the image was even better. And I have to say, I had seen The Exorcist. So I bought Halloween, but then I also bought 5 or 4 more tapes after I had my bar mitzvah. And one of the tapes I bought was The Exorcist. So I bought Alice, Sweet Alice, which is because they weren't.
And just quickly. Alfred Soul passed away last week. So
Oh,
the director of Alice Sweet
oh,
Alice.
and he was also a production designer that worked
Yes,
on,
he's a great production designer too. But yeah,
and Paula Shepherd starred in that, who later went on to be in Liquid Sky. So
and
wow,
Brooke Shields. And if you've never seen Alice Sweet Alice, guys, find it. It's usually on Prime or something like that. It's a really, really good movie.
really good, AKA Communion. So
AKA Holy Terror.
there you go. Um, so I have to tell you, so I had recently seen Exorcist, and that was traumatizing, and I loved it. I had a like you. I mean, I watching Texas Chainsaw Massacre for me at 13 was a profoundly disturbing experience that I also loved, because there really is no other movie like it. Like you said, Dave, it really truly does capture madness on film, because it's not just, I always talk about verisimilitude, the quality of being real. I always look for real experiences, things that I believe that might actually be happening. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre might be, in all of horror history, have the greatest verisimilitude of any horror film ever made.
Because that one, I mean, the way it looked, everything, you could believe that was happening, and that happened. But the thing is too, I mean, I know you say that, but again, being someone who, and I don't want to get into a long diatribe about verisimilitude at this point, because I know a lot of people have already heard your thoughts about it.
Yeah, but I won't get into. I'll just say it about that movie.
But I think I think it's important also to mention, because you are such an aficionado and an expert in films that can be, real in their worlds, but we are talking about many otherworldly things within their heightened realities and everything else,
right,
that you enjoy and like a lot. So
yes.
So, but yeah, I mean, but that's the thing. The movie works the original movie works in a way that I don't think any other movie does, because of so much of it. So much of it, I think, is because of the way they made it. You can feel the heat. You can feel all of it, and it's amazing.
Me and you. Maybe
and,
you just leave me.
And the funny thing is, I learned later on in life. I learned when I was working at Full Moon. One of the directors there was Ted Nicolau, and Ted Nicolau was the sound man on Chainsaw, and it's his van in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
So he got to tell me stories. Later on, I got to hang out with Toby Hooper a couple times, talk to him about it, and also Gunnar Hansen. I got to hang out with him and hear personal stories and stuff like that too. And if you are interested in Chainsaw at all as a film, I really do recommend Gunnar Hansen's book Chainsaw Confidential, about the making of Chainsaw from his point of view, and it's a really entertaining, quick read. It's really fascinating.
By the way, Tommy Martinson sends in a super chat and says the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is one of the defining works of American horror cinema, and what made it work wasn't gore, but a disturbing, filthy, almost documentary-like realism. I absolutely agree with that.
100%. And it's not even just a pinnacle of just horror. It is of American cinema.
Oh yeah.
I mean, now it is in the museum of. It's preserved in the. I don't know what that's called though, but it's on that list of films for preservation of all time. It is now. Now it is recognized as art, and it really is, because again, when you really look at that movie, the movie itself, story-wise, is incredibly simple. It's all about the execution. It's all about the intensity, and it really is very slim story, incredible execution, and intensity.
Yeah, I mean, what was so interesting to me and what struck me about the movie was like Tommy was saying, I felt like I was watching something that was actually somehow they got a camera and they were showing me things that were actually happening while they happened. And I mean, they talk about documentary style, and there's been a lot made of the post-Vietnam films, the once
But the funny
Americans
thing
could
is,
see
I
the
don't. But it's not documentary style, really.
oh
The thing is, it feels real, but it's a beautifully composed and shot movie by Daniel Pearl.
oh
It's
no
not. When I think documentary, I'm thinking handheld. There's not a handheld shot in that fucking movie.
well, no, I don't think it's not that
But
there's some
because it feels real. And the
yeah.
thing is, it's those long, wide shots that hold. They don't
Right.
cut away.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I have to say that to bring up what Marcus Nispel directed the remake of Texas Chainsaw. Now, it is also a beautiful movie. It's
Also
a beautiful
shot by Daniel Pearl.
also shot by Daniel Pearl. But I would say that was the point I was going to make. The difference between the two is you look at Marcus Nispel, who made his bones in music videos.
Music videos, yeah.
I don't believe for a minute that I'm not watching a movie when I'm watching the remake of Texas Chainsaw.
And that's a very conscious thing when you think of, Michael Bay being the producer. And I think that's a very conscious thing. Again,
Well, I mean, sure. Look,
none of the other sequels or redos or remakes or reboots or whatever in this series have ever gone truly back to the roots. You could never, because that's the thing. What was unique about this is you could not duplicate the conditions in which that original film was filmed in.
that's yes, but there's no one's ever even tried.
No, and that's the thing. I don't know. I mean,
And I don't know
especially,
if they could. I honestly
well,
wonder.
you get modern. I mean, that's the thing now. You're spending $20 million on a movie now. They're not going to let you hold. It's unfortunately modern filmmaking. They're not going to let you hold on a wide for that long. They're not going to. They're just, the powers that be that are over here to go, oh no, you got to cut. I mean, you're holding on the shot too long. I mean, what are you doing? It's like, it's one of those things that I believe me, I would love to. I would love to be able to have that ability to like come up with something where you can even they wouldn't let us do it in Hills, and I would have loved to have done that in Hills, where you're wide and you're seeing things from afar as if you are a far observer. I mean, there's something to that stuff.
Well, there's a way they used, like, human beings. We have a fixed lens that we see the world through. It's basically like a 50 millimeter lens. Our eyes can only see the world in a certain way.
Well, no, let me ask you. You might know this. Which is interesting that you say the 50 millimeter lens, which I know we're getting a little nerdy here and talking about like technical bullshit that you probably don't care about. Was the 50 or the 25 Hitchcock's favorite lens?
Oh, I don't know. I would probably say it's a 25 because it was more cinematic.
I think it's one of the two. But also I just because I'm looking in there. Squadra Course says thank you. Squadra Course. Aren't most slasher films all about the execution? Yeah, I mean the ones that you remember, of course they are. But again, Chainsaw, I think Chainsaw's not really a slasher movie.
Well, no, I mean what's really interesting is I've always seen.
That's why the sequels don't work, and why Chainsaw 3 in a way doesn't work, because they tried to make Leatherface a slasher.
Yes, and that's the funny thing about it. I see the Chainsaw franchise as like Fetch. Well, stop trying to make Fetch happen. The word. And it's and even when I was working on, like, here's the funny thing. So Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, also directed by Tobe Hooper, put out by Canon Films, came out in 86. 85,
Yes.
86?
86.
Now, it was a parody. And I thought going that way, it had that kind of a little bit of a Motel Hell vibe to it or whatever. But I thought it was a smart way to go.
Well, it definitely brought in the black humor way, way, way more, and more in your face because, again,
Well,
if you talk to Toby, he thought the first one was a comedy, and
right.
people just didn't get it. So he was like, okay, well, I'm going to make sure they get it this time.
Yeah, which is true. I mean, he actually told me that when when I was working on the Life Force disc,
Uh-huh.
and the funny thing is though, you know, the it was the whole approach to. I don't think they would. If I bet you when they were making Texas Chainsaw, Toby wouldn't have said, "Yeah, I'm going to make a typical horror film." You know, he was making a movie about America. And he was making commentary on the American nuclear family, what America,
The American dream,
the
all these
American,
things.
all the post Vietnam. Here was where and this family was just making the most of what they had. You know, they were turning lemons into lemonade. They're like, you know,
But the nice thing, is, I think what I love about that original movie too. And again, this is all like analysis 40 plus years on.
Yeah, but also, and this is one of the most analyzed horror films
Right.
ever made.
And some of it is just like, okay, what do you bring to it? But the thing is, to me, it's the efficiency of it. He didn't need to have the cook do monologues about the American family and the nuclear family and
No.
defending your rights and anything. It's just, that's there if you want to interpret it that way. Otherwise, I mean, the way Toby said about the movie, he goes, it's just a movie about a bad day. It's a bad day for the kids. It's a bad day for Leatherface. It's just a movie about a bad day.
Well, I also think that, okay, you know, one of the reasons you wanted to talk about this because we hadn't seen the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Right? And we haven't talked yet about what we neither of us have talked about what we thought about the movie. So.
But I would say if you watch, forget all the middle. If you just watch Texas Chainsaw and Texas Chainsaw,
right?
To me, they represent how. In some ways, America has done amazing things in the time since Texas Chainsaw was released. But I think everything you need to know about the desecration of the American dream and the American way of life and our educational system and everything about how America has been diminished internally, not externally, not even on the world stage, but everything wrong with America is somewhere in between this new Netflix Texas Chainsaw and the original.
Okay.
And to me, the original Texas Chainsaw, the fact that it even exists is a testament to America. And the new Texas Chainsaw on Netflix is a damning indictment of everything about America right now. Not just how the movie got made, everything in the movie, everything the movie's about.
I think in a good way, though. For me, here's the thing. I will say this now. Here's what I did last Sunday. I went and I got a bunch of barbecue. I had people over and we watched it and we had a blast. I was very, very, very skeptical about this movie beforehand. I thought the trailer was terrible. I was like, this looks really bad. And I was so surprised because it was lean, mean, got in there. It was vicious, brutal. And it was, once it got going, which was very quick. It was a visceral experience like the first one. The story wasn't really that important once it got going. And it was just this visceral experience. And that I appreciated. I like that they weren't, I mean, they weren't overly heavy with the message things on it. And to me, tonally, as far as intensity and everything, it was I'm not saying it's on par, but it was the closest to the feel in a way to the original, in my opinion, in the sense of being, but the thing is, you have to be, it's incredibly bloody. It's incredibly gory. And I just don't think even if the director was gifted enough to do it without the blood, I don't think they would have allowed him to do it. And coming from Fede Alvarez as a producer who made the Evil Dead remake, which is one of the best of the sort of reboots.
It's a pretty good horror. It's a pretty good horror.
It's a pretty. We had a blast seeing it in the theater. Come on,
that was we had so much fun. That whole night, that was like half the LA horror community.
Right.
I mean, every person I knew that was involved with making horror movies at that point that lived in LA was at that screening. I mean, that was a great night. So,
but no, I was surprised. I had a good time with this one. I really did. I'm very
disappointed, Dave.
Well, you shouldn't be. I like one. Look, when you really think of it, I like 1 and 2. The other ones I don't really. Three's different because there's personal reasons, but the story it's a mess. It's a mess of a movie.
I know.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre: The Next Generation is a goddamn abortion. It's so bad.
For those of you who don't know, that has Matthew McConaughey and
Renee Zellweger
in it. Yeah, it's good.
And then we get the Michael Bay, the Bay era of that and the prequel to it. And then we get Chainsaw 3D, and then we get the Leatherface prequel, which I mean, at least was interesting because that was made by the guys who did Inside. So there was definitely some artistic things there. But again,
here's another thing.
They were hampered.
Here's another thing I can't stand. You know, we're now living in a world. We have horror filmmakers that the guys that made Inside, I love those. We met those guys.
You met those guys. I didn't meet those guys.
Oh, because were they not there? Oh, they were there when we were there for Femme Fatales in 2011.
Right.
Those guys were bouncing off the walls. When I met them, I was like, dude, I love Inside so good. And they're like, you saw a movie? I'm like, I've seen your movie like 8 times. I fucking love it. And they're like, oh my God. They were amazing. But you know what? They took the job. They got the gig. I'm happy for them.
And they did a good job. With it. It's just the funny thing is, it's not really a chainsaw movie.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing, Dave. I hated the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre movie.
Okay, well, I'm curious, and the thing is, what I found out this week from the time I saw it and everything until now, it's very divisive. Where either people really, really were surprised and had a good time with it, or hated it. So
look,
there's
a lot that I loved in this new movie in terms of the gore, and I laughed.
Yeah,
I found it, but I thought they've taken the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, was like Toby Hooper said, this is a bad day in America. Everybody's having a bad day.
Right.
The new Texas Chainsaw Massacre is completely contrived, and it's completely made up to have, millennials wanting to start a WeWork space in a town, and all that. All the setup and all it represents everything that no one in America who lives here right now, no one making movies, no studio would ever be able to make the original Texas Chainsaw.
Exactly.
Because they're asking all of these questions. I mean, the very act of getting notes from people. The whole thing about Texas Chainsaw Massacre is it's not about notes. It's not about plot. It's not about any of that. It's literally about, here's the idea.
In a way, it's like Fury Road. It's like, boom. They're on the road. They're on a journey. They're on this path, in that sense.
It's shiny and chrome. No, you're absolutely, that's an apt.
Because Fury Road is more, not so much, the story's very simple. It's all about the experience.
I kind of wish, when I watched Hostel and Hostel 2, and I like Hostel 2, but to me, Hostel 2 was a movie where I like it added more. It did a better job infusing modern concerns into its horror milieu than this movie did. This movie felt completely contrived to me. Everything about it, despite the fact that it's supposed to be a direct sequel, and that what I as a horror film, it's
no,
fine.
and the thing is, I totally get that.
Do you know what I
appreciate what
you
you're
know what I
saying.
really did? You know what I really objected to in this movie? The thing I objected to most, the violence was glib. This movie existed. What it did was people watched the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre and they're like, the title didn't tell me what the movie was. Like I expected people getting like dismembered with chainsaws. The people that made this movie took the title literally and said, "Oh, well, you know, we've read all the analysis of this film for the last 50 years, and so now we're gonna make a film where let's just make it hilarious with people just getting."
Yeah, but from 2 on, they've tried to do that.
I know, but here's the
So-
thing. To me, it's like
They just got to do it on this one.
everybody, yes, they got to do it on this one, but again, it shows a fundamental misunderstanding of why the original movie is a classic and why.
I see. I don't know if it's a misunderstanding. I just, like you said earlier, I don't. They couldn't possibly even try to make.
No, they couldn't.
Even go towards the original. And the thing is, this. It's like, whether you enjoy the movie or not, whether you agree with me or Rob, is superfluous, really, because the bottom line is Texas Chainsaw Massacre was never meant to be a series of films.
Okay, thank you for saying that, because that's the point. I think that's the point when you brought this up and wanted to talk about it, that was the point you wanted to make, is that, and I felt that way even working on, I mean, I worked 20-hour days, 6 days a week for an entire summer, and I had a blast. And even then, I'm working on my first movie. I was so excited. Even then, I knew this is a creatively bankrupt enterprise. And what they're trying to, and Jeff, not because Jeff Burr, but the studio itself, New Line, to me, it was, in my own personal life, it was the first instance where I'm like, oh, they're trying to exploit an IP and they want to turn it into something they already have, which is a bastardization of the original concept. And with Texas Chainsaw, it will never work.
I mean, when you really think about it, one of the greatest, the arguably one of the greatest teaser trailers ever filmed for a movie, one of the great filmed specifically as a teaser trailer, for Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3 is an affront and an abomination about everything that Texas Chainsaw Massacre is, when you really think about it. But when you watch it, you go, fuck yes.
For those of you who don't know, to announce Leatherface and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 3, they literally drew upon John Borman's Excalibur.
Yeah.
And they replayed the scene when the Lady of the Lake brings up Excalibur from the water, and instead of Excalibur, it's the chrome chainsaw.
It's amazing. And then he grabs it. Leatherface catches it, and then lightning strikes and starts it. It's like, I'd see that fucking movie. I want to see Leatherface be like Thor and bring the thunder down with his saw.
Well, I mean, that's
like,
basically. By the way, Tom Jr. Jackson sends in a super chat and says, Texas Chainsaw Massacre was used as a plot device in the brilliant film Summer School. One of my favorite scenes in the Carl Reiner comedy. I really like Summer School.
I love Summer School.
And you're right, because 2 of the characters are horror aficionados.
Chainsaw and Dave. It's called Chainsaw and Dave, and their favorite movie is Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, and it's I have to say though, man, I mean, you know, this idea of IP and all this, and they've made so many Texas Chainsaw sequels, and none of them have worked. And look, I look back at Marcus Nispel's movie. It's not a bad movie. It's a beautifully made film.
No, it's a good movie. It's got intense scenes and everything, in it. But Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. I don't mind it. It doesn't hold a candle to the original, but again, they see an IP, they see a title that is well known, they can profit off of it. That's why these are being made.
No, I know.
So it's like there's really
But
nothing else about it.
but here's what really bothers me about the world we live
And,
in.
and I'll say this, guys. If they asked me to do one tomorrow, I would do it 100%. And knowing that, if I could make one, look, if I had made this new Chainsaw movie, I'd stand there very fucking proud. Go, I fucking delivered. At least I fucking delivered a chainsaw massacre.
Yes, and okay, and it's funny because I saw a YouTube clip. I love filmmakers and I know how hard it is to make movies. And I saw the director introduced a scene with what's her face in the truck.
With Sally. I know. Yeah, and I mean, the director's a newer guy. He directed one movie before called Tejano, which I don't know if it's available yet. I think it is.
Look,
don't introduce your clip. Well, it's time for a real Texan to get back in the director's chair.
Look, I'm not gonna criticize him because we all know how hard it is.
But you know what? We all if someone said, "Well, you should do that," we all would have done it. We all would have done the same thing.
And you know what? He put us all into it, and I'm going to say kudos to him.
Super stylish. It looks great, and kudos to. I'll say this. The composer is it Colin Stetson?
I don't remember. I don't know.
He did the score to Hereditary. He did this score.
Yeah.
And it is by far the most intense, purest chainsaw-esque score since the original.
Well, here's the thing. All the people that made this movie were talented people.
And they shot in Bulgaria.
I know that was another thing. They shot in Bulgaria, Dave.
And their production offices were Bufo.
Where we shot. I mean,
yeah, right. So
that's another thing. You and I made a horror film in Bulgaria, which I think is actually pretty cool.
It is. Putin
will never take Bulgaria.
Believe me, I wish Hills had been as unhinged and as unbridled as this movie.
Well, it should have been. I mean,
it should have been. He was, and he came in. He was a replacement. Remember, he was a replacement director too.
I know.
They had two other directors on there. A week. They shot a week.
Yeah.
So, Unhinged Day begins again. I'm just having a few cocktails.
No, but I think though that obviously we're very respectful of our fellow filmmakers and all that, and who wouldn't, like you just pointed out, of course you're going to take the job. Who wouldn't? You got the money, but here's my problem. My problem is you go back to Ian Malcolm. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
Sure. Right.
And it to me, like, there is so many more, whether it's novels or ideas or stories. This idea of falling back to Texas Chainsaw again, it's not like there's a legacy of sequels that you can proudly point to them and go, look what we're going to do.
No, but you don't have to have a legacy of sequels that you can point to, because you have that one. That one is such a lightning rod. It's such a pillar of a movie that all you need is that one. It's so notorious. It's just like The Exorcist. They're going to do 3. They're supposedly doing 3 more Exorcist movies.
I know.
Do you really need 3? Do you need any more Exorcist movies?
I would say to you that what I really find distressing about the time we live in is that horror, great horror, is a reflection of the time in which it comes out or which it's made. It is absolutely a reflection of the times. And by recycling all of these horror IPs, you are missing out on creating what's Hollywood going to do in 20 years?
No one, well, that's the thing. No one, no one wants to create the new. That's been my thing for a while now. It's like,
no, but
where's our new boogeyman? I mean,
horror.
What was the last? I mean, I guess what was the last like sort of I guess Jigsaw would be considered the last sort of horror character
of our time. Yeah, of our time.
of our
And even
time.
that's 20 years old, man. I was on the set of the first Saw at Lacey
Right.
Street Studios shooting behind the
Yep.
scenes stuff. But I'll tell you, I think back to it. This is so weird. No one even knows this movie. But Brett Leonard's Feed.
I love Feed.
Dude.
It's so disturbing.
Dude,
but again, that's never going to be a franchise.
No, but I'm not saying I'm not. It shouldn't be. But that film was all about the modern age. I mean, there's so much shit that's disturbing in that movie that I can't even I remember
Just it's wrong in so many ways.
dude, it's so wrong, but yet it's so I have the DVD.
Yeah,
think.
me too. I do. I bought it. I watched it. I've only watched it once, but I bought it. I was like, this stuck with me. But I
Dude.
don't.
Well, because the thing. So, for those of you who don't know, Brett Leonard, who made The Lawnmower Man, made a movie called Feed, which is, you know what? The less you know about it, the better. But it's fucking.
I don't even
disturbing.
know. I'm not even sure if you can find it now. It doesn't. I don't know if it's on. It's definitely not on streaming. I don't know if you can get it digitally or not. Someone might want to look into that. But yeah, but it's interesting. But
I mean, to me, horror is a genre.
But a couple of people are saying some interesting things here. I just want to bring up in the chat. Aaron Johnson goes, I think horror movies like Chainsaw seem to remind the viewer of real life events that happen, like Columbine. I don't know. I think now I think these are so heightened that hopefully not, that they're more of an escape. Now, again, this movie uses something that's very modern with school shooting as some plot device, but doesn't really go really.
By the way, I thought that was incredibly pandering. These are screenwriting notes. I can see the notes that the studio gave everyone, and I thought to add that as a plot device in the film cheapened everything. And
there was definitely a very anti-gun thing going throughout the movie in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and then it becomes. I mean, what's interesting about people look at Texas Chainsaw as a political movie, but what's interesting about it was the finished product might have been perceived as being political, but part of the reason it worked so well is that it wasn't political.
No, I mean that's the thing. Things like it's funny because you can bring up something that even overtly seems more political in its presentation, like Night of the Living Dead, which wasn't. It became political afterwards.
Yeah, and they were just, even the casting.
You have to realize, guys, that sometimes filmmakers are not that fucking smart and shrewd, and they're just using the best people available, and they come up with things that they think are going to be freaky, and then other people analyze it and go, "Oh, this is a big political statement," and it really wasn't in the filmmaker's eyes, but upon reflection,
Well, I think I'll tell you what
But again, back then too, we also sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt, but
No.
I was going to say, back in the day too, filmmakers who were just trying to make a gritty little horror movie or something like that, they wouldn't put their political things right up front in your face anyway. They were trying to sell the horror first, and if that stuff got through, great, but it was never. They were never going to be heavy-handed about that stuff. Where now we're getting things that are. It seems like, and I don't know if it's because of social media and all of that you seemingly have to have all this stuff like right in your face and very heavy-handed and not subtle at all. But I'll say this, with the Chainsaw movie and stuff like it did help. And I'm not saying necessarily that this is a good thing, Rob, but it made the movie fun. Is that I was happy to see these fucking stupid influencer people die.
Well, okay. I mean,
whether that is good storytelling or not, it was like,
no, but
I'm feeling something.
I would say here's the vast difference between Texas Chainsaw then and now. in the original Texas Chainsaw, when it was made and when it came out, the tenor of the country was, for the very first time, because of television, because of technology, we actually saw not just Americans but human beings being brought back in body bags. We saw real
Sure.
combat where people were dying in the rice paddies in a faraway land for the very first time. And the idea of loss of life, any loss of human life, was abhorrent. And it was like, and the thing is that Texas Chainsaw, the original, is so realistic that it harks back to, like, we were never supposed to see war. You know, war was told to us by Hemingway, or war was written about, and
Yeah, but we
and
were
we weren't.
seeing. I bet people were seeing stuff from even World War II. There were,
Yeah, they were
there was
seeing,
news
but
films and stuff like
of
that. You
course,
were
but they
seeing
were not
horror.
but they were not showed. We were not
Not
seeing.
not like the footage from the
Yeah.
Vietnam War.
So
Of
what
course.
happened was with Texas Chainsaw. Here's the thing. The new Texas Chainsaw, we are rooting and waiting for these characters to die. We want
Sure.
to see. We want to now see Leatherface is our hero.
And
we
isn't that
want.
but isn't it interesting when you really think about it? Because this is the thing. We want to see these characters die, and they are a reflection of our modern times
Uh,
and sensibilities.
you
And Leatherface is old school in his thoughts and his beliefs. Isn't that interesting?
Oh no, but that's absolutely the whole premise. I mean,
Yeah.
the fact is, we now live in a world. We came out. The 20th century had more horror and violence than any other century in human history. More people died. 70 million people died in World War II. Not just the 6 million Jews and the other 6 million people in concentration camps. 20 million Russians
Right.
died. You know, and you'd think they would learn their lesson. Now we've got, like, Russian people have families in Ukraine. Putin has launched an attack. What? You know,
Right.
why not just buy? It's so absurd what's going on. Nowadays, we now live in a world where killing your enemies has become normalized. Where, hey, a missile flies into let's bomb Iraq because weapons of mass destruction. We have normalized dying, murder. We have normalized to the point where we're now rooting for Leatherface because we're creating human characters that are so despicable. Let's fucking get rid of them.
I think the other interesting thing
It's insidious, though. We've
Yes.
normalized, like, in this country, in the United States right now, there are Americans that if you ask them, they would say, it wouldn't bother me if half those Democrats, those libtards, they deserve to die. We now live in a country. This is what is the difference between Texas Chainsaw Massacre is that in that movie, every human life is sacred. The idea of what happens to those people is horrific. But now we live in a world where in 2022, fucking let Leatherface kill those influencers. Who cares?
That's right.
Those people are worthless. That is the most insidious difference between the two movies.
Well,
Toby Hooper's
because
movie still believes in the sanctity of human life. The movie
Yes.
that we're now given on Netflix is like, kill those motherfuckers.
Right.
Chainsaw them. Let's let Leatherface win.
right,
And
because
that is the
dude,
entire problem with our entire. And what's interesting is they're both saying the same thing. Both movies are saying the same thing. They're both telling us the same thing, that they're making us. They're reflecting our own lives back at us.
that's the thing. They are reflections, and the thing is, unfortunately, and I agree with you on this point, we are incredibly cynical, and our value of life and other people is it lasts for maybe a day or so, and then you I'm clicking on something else.
Dude, I gotta say, I'm looking in the chat right now.
I know, it's awesome. I'm looking at it
This is a
too.
great chat, great. But Toffee20 says we're normalizing the war crimes of the elites. First of all, the idea that you think that there are elites, this is a problem. Human beings are now stratifying themselves. The
Right.
elites are now people. Watch. Oh fuck! What's the name of the Mexican movie? About the elites. The thing is,
I remember the.
I just got the disc and watch it.
Yeah,
It's great.
you keep talking about this movie.
Yeah,
I haven't
but
seen it yet.
there are now people that the elites. They're not human beings. They're elites. We have a strata of people. Here's what I would say. Do you know what the problem?
But sorry,
you know-
Toffee. It's not okay. It's not okay for USA or Russia to destroy countries, but not Russia. I mean, I don't know what that. I don't. I just had to look at that. It's like one. We're not a. I know we're bringing up some politics.
Well, no, but
here's
the thing. Here's the thing. I've said on this show and on this channel, every single human being. There's only one of them in the entire infinitude of the universe.
And they have a unique story to tell.
Unique story to tell. The idea that we are normalizing and that we have made it okay. And by the way, don't think it's not okay. We have now convinced ourselves, and we have, by the way, been programmed to do this. That
for
okay.
for likes, thumbs ups, clicks,
not
likes,
just, but also that people deserve to die. We now live in a world. The thing about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is that you basically had kids, normal kids, hanging out, hitchhiking, whatever, traveling around. That they come across people that do not see them as human beings. They see them as commodities. This is food. This is a lampshade. This is a whatever. I mean, but now we were rooting for the people to survive. Sally wanted to get the fuck out of there.
Here's the nice thing that we can't actually put upon what we think that the family
New Order, Sonny. New Order is the movie.
New Order, yeah. But
which is incredible, by the way.
Right, but we don't know actually what Leatherface and his family in the original Chainsaw movie were thinking, except defending their home. Oh, we have intruders. It's like, wait, you're not supposed to be here.
Well, to
an extreme,
and that's why. But that's why it's also an American story, But it plays with all of that. But what I find so disturbing about where we're at now. We're one step away from normalizing. We see it. Our culture, kids will walk in and Columbine's 20 years ago. Dave, when I was a kid, the idea that a child would have a gun and take into school
come in and shoot would not, even in my time, we wouldn't even think of anything like that.
And now, because our civilization has dehumanized us so much for various reasons that we think killing people for fun, for sport, or to get rid of somebody who doesn't believe what we believe in. I mean, we're one step away from people going into other people's houses, dragging them out, and putting them up on crosses and crucifying them.
True. I mean, in a way,
we're there, man. We're there.
But here's the thing. Here's what I'm going to say about it. I think humans have always been this way. We have always been savages that have put on a suit of refinement. But deep down inside, the majority of people think like savages. We are still savages. We have evolved from Roman times where we're not in a Colosseum watching people being slaughtered now. But the thing is, I think, unfortunately, I do think, the majority of people think human life is very, matter of fact. And it's like, what has changed is now it is, in my opinion, has become more personalized and not as we're a country or we're a group that is going to defend ourselves and everything else. Now it becomes a personalized thing. Like, I want this and everything. And so it's a little weird, but we're kind of veering into, tricky subjects that I don't really think I have enough education to really talk about.
I agree, but I mean, we're just talking. By the way, got a few more. Stub McShave, the great Stub McShave says, "Would you like
Yay.
the new movie if it existed in a vacuum and the original had never been made?" That's a really interesting question. I would still say, for
It's
me,
still
for me
okay.
personally, I thought that the hot button issues they had to. It was so contrived. One of the beautiful things about the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre is it just seemed like, hey, it's a day in the life. We're just going like nothing's. Whereas this movie, it was constructed. It was built based on, well, we have to have this motivation. We have to do this and touch on this and touch on that. So to me, the new Texas Chainsaw was disingenuous.
But here, let me ask you this though. Could the thing is, I don't think they would allow someone to do a story that had so little story in a movie now. With spending the amount of money that they were and everything else, and
you are absolutely correct, Dave. You're absolutely correct.
But here's also a really important point to bring out the difference between this new movie and the original. The original really was the vision of one man who got to do his vision.
Yeah.
This movie is a $20 million movie that is made by Legendary that has way more voices. It's not just one singular voice creating this movie. Now, yes, I know the original had a screenwriter as well and everything, but it was clearly one person's vision.
Sure.
This is not. And why I continue to say, you don't get those movies anymore that aren't done by without having with one director having total say, with the exception of, and maybe it's because I'm reading this new book about the making of Fury Road that came out, which is fascinating and it's a must read.
Yeah.
Except that movie, George Miller doing Fury Road and Chainsaw. It's like these are and Fury Road is the rare case of a very expensive movie that is made by one person.
That took 20 years to get made.
Almost 30 when you read the book.
Yeah,
with one vision, one person
and,
with a vision.
And the irony about
a vision that it was a battle every day that people, including the actors, did not understand, and he could not verbalize.
No, of course,
what that was.
Well, dude, look at what we got in theaters. The Godfather came out. It does the same thing. I mean, we're gonna see a whole. Here's what I think is what's unfortunately wrong with the entertainment across the board. Like you said, Legendary. The funny thing about Legendary, run by people who, and again, working on Superman Returns, you worked for Legendary a little bit. We were working for, that was a Legendary film, but
it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So the people that are in charge of all of this.
But that was it. But no. You know what? I got argued this a little bit preemptively. I apologize. I don't mean to keep cutting you off. But that was when Thomas Tull was with Legendary.
Yes,
he's not there. He's not there anymore. And Thomas Tull, from all the things that I could tell, was a little different bit of an animal as far as someone who was leading the charge on that company.
No. Thomas Tull was a geek. He was awesome. I think the last time I saw Thomas Tull was at the Pacific Rim screening that we went to 4 months before the movie opened, which is one of the greatest days of my entire life. But no, the point that I was going to make is, like with everything else, you now have corporate interests. I can't think of another genre that is more compromised by corporate speak or corporate thought than horror. Because even horror, like Toby Hooper,
mainstream studio.
Yeah, but yes, of course, that's horror. What I mean. Corporate. Yeah. I'm not talking about indie horror. I'm talking about because they can't. They have to worry about they have to worry about what their perception, and there's so much they have to worry about. It is antithetical to what horror is as a genre. The idea that you can't, if you want to make a true horror film, you can't worry about the interests of what the corporations thinking about, well, what if, like, Dave, we suffered from that in the
Sure.
sense that we worked for Warner Brothers, and when we made The Hills Run Red, when Diane Nelson, they were worried about, we've got two cute boys in the movie. What if a 14-year-old girl buys Hills Run Red at Walmart, takes it home, and watches the original cut of with everything in it, and
Right.
watches that film? You know, you and I would have been fucking, well, mostly you, would have been crucified. You know, some girl, I can't believe, you know, so.
But I mean, that's the thing. But I mean, perfect example of, and not that our lead actor Tad didn't do a good job, because he did. But the thing is, I would have never cast him. He wasn't my choice.
No,
I would have never cast it. I would never cast him. I actually made a joke to the casting people. I go, can you find me more pretty people, because I'm not seeing any.
Well, dude,
Because it was like they were all fucking models, and I'm like,
look,
it's like, would you please look at me? I'm not a fucking model, but I'm that character.
You're a handsome man, dude. Come on.
Yeah, but I'm not.
I'm just. But no, you're absolutely right. And
Yeah.
and that was. Look, I think that, like, I love our cast. Janet Montgomery was a discovery, and she's gone on to do great things.
Yeah,
But
I'm glad that I
I'm
found
the
her.
first person. I've been saying this for 30 years. People in movies are too good looking, and people in horror films are way too good looking. And they're ruining.
The arts were way too pretty and way too coiffed and way too. It was like, Jesus Christ.
We didn't, but that was, by the way, not our choice, and it was
I would have dirtied them
taken
up.
away from us.
But again, but the thing is this, on the studio level and everything else, it's like, it's very hard to take any sort of chances. You have to be at a really high level and everything. And the thing is, when it happens, which we did get a really original, crazy, batshit fucking crazy movie. Also, yesterday, his birthday, James Wan's Malignant.
Which loved it.
But it didn't set the world on fire.
Well, no, but look,
but it's fucking original, and it should be celebrated. It should be celebrated.
Bonkers. By the way, we have another super chat from Connie Sang. She says the movie had fun moments, and I survived the gruesome scenes, like the head bashing. But the story was a head scratcher, and the fun wasn't enough for me to get past it. 2 survived, and they chose autopilot. Okay,
but the funny thing is this. Okay, well,
by the way,
the ending's pretty funny.
Yeah, but that's the thing. It's glib.
But it's a reflect. It is a total. When you really look at it, it's a total reflection of the original to the end. They both end with her driving away, and one's on autopilot. It's so what today is. It was just. That was funny. It was funny.
But that's the thing. You know what it did? It broke verisimilitude. It became.
I don't think there was any verisimilitude.
No, there wasn't. There wasn't.
But, I'll agree with you with that.
It was like, and here's the problem with movies, man. People wonder. It's like the difference between watching the original cut of Star Wars, not the special edition. You watch Star Wars and you watch Rise of Skywalker. Go from the beginning to the end. The creativity is so bankrupt because it used to be filmmakers trying to bring their visions to the screen, and the studio's like, here's the money, kid, go do what you do, and then we'll get it back and hopefully we can sell it. That's what it used to be. Now you have all of these people, by the way, who are unqualified to tell you what story to tell. They're telling filmmakers what they should do. And especially in the horror, you're just making a friend. Just do what we tell you. It's like, I mean,
that's the thing. But that's the thing. We live in an era which is it's the big difference from the 70s and the 80s with the people that we grew up loving and who inspired us to want to make movies. We're living in an era where everyone knows better than the fucking director and the screenwriter.
We do, and this is a problem.
Yeah, I don't know how to solve it. Well, when you need money to make it.
Well, yes, you do. The problem is, here's what's going to happen. Here's what needs to happen. We live in a world where distribution can be taken. I mean, we all want to make money, but eventually the powers that be, the studios or whatever, even the studios have boxed themselves in because they can only make IP related films that maybe will make 100, 200, 300 million dollars, or hopefully $1 billion at the box office.
But
they've cut their own throats, which means what they can make is very limited. The studios aren't even making Oscar movies, dude. Now we're seeing.
But Rob, here's the thing. They're judging those things by who goes to the movies and what people are going to.
Okay. But there's a bigger concern. Young people are not
don't care about movies. They don't care about movies. They don't care about movies.
They don't care, and God bless them. The fact is, and why should
go on your rant for a minute. I'm gonna use the restroom. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. This is gonna happen.
I'll pee when you get back. So here's what I would, because I control the vertical. So here's for me, all you kids out there. We now live in a world where entertainment is fractured. When I was growing up in the 20th century, movies were the art form. You took all the other art forms, theater, dance, movement, art, whatever. It was all distilled with the added benefit of technology to tell stories the way they'd never been told before in human history. That was movies. It was magic. All of that was incredible. Fantastic. That was the great thing. I grew up loving movies. So did a lot of people. We became filmmakers. Now we live in the 21st century where that has changed. The difference is that we would sit down and the movies were outside of us. We watched the stories. Now, let me bring Dave's coming back. The difference is we are the stories. We're all the protagonists of our own movies. Whether you're putting pictures on Instagram, whether you're making reels or stories or TikTok videos or whatever, it's changed. We are the main attraction. The stories of us are where we're at. That is a very different place to be in terms of entertainment. We're no longer passive watchers. We are now participants in all of the action. And that is a fundamental shift in what's going on. We will never get back to the importance of movies the way they were important in the 20th century. We're now playing video games. We're the protagonists. We're now making TikTok videos about ourselves. We're the center of the story. And unless there's elements of that in our entertainment, it's very difficult for people to watch it. Kids today, they're making their own videos. They're sharing them. They're talking. They're talking about how they feel, or they're making a fun TikTok video, or they're making a reel or something. They're the protagonists. Why watch a movie when you are the center of your own story? That's the thing.
Everyone's a star now.
Everyone's a star.
Everyone's a star, and you know, whether we understand or not, you know, kids are making fucking millions of dollars doing stupid shit.
Well, Dave, I mean, here's what I would say. I was saying this earlier today about the Oscars. The reason the Oscars are becoming increasingly irrelevant is because movies themselves are less relevant in people's lives. But you know what isn't less relevant? Filmmaking. Everyone is carrying around cameras. You've got kids making amazing TikTok videos, learning how to tell stories in 2 minutes that are amazing.
I'm very excited. I've got this is the new iPhone. Fully loaded, man, and dude, I will be shooting stuff on this.
I will. Yeah, you buy a camera package, you can shoot features. I mean, Steven Soderbergh's been doing it. What I don't understand is why the Academy is trying to figure out why are less people watching the Oscars? Because less people watch movies. But you know what less people aren't doing?
More people would watch the Oscars if they actually like nominated films that people actually watched.
That's part of it too. But you know what?
But
though?
again, I'm not saying that because then it becomes the People Choice Awards or something like
But
that, and
the
that would be the
world-
highest rated thing. But the thing is, you're right.
But what the Oscars do is still, at the end of the day, the Tiffany standard of entertainment is motion pictures. But we now live in a world.
I don't think they are anymore.
Well, no, they are, and I'll tell you.
You think so? Okay. Okay.
So, but here's the thing. Everyone is now making movies, whether it's on TikTok, whether it's on Facebook, whether on Twitter,
Instagram. Yeah,
Instagram,
people are.
Everyone's making movies, and still films are still the creme de la creme. But here's what the Academy celebrates: the various different disciplines of filmmaking. You've got there's a girl I stumbled across on YouTube when I started years ago, named Shelby Church. I've talked about it on the show before. I don't know Shelby Church. I don't even know why. Like, when she was 14 years old, I think she's like 24, 25 now. When she was 14 years old, she got on social media and she was on like the swim team and made swim team videos.
Mm-hmm.
Now, though, if you watch her evolution, I found her because she was talking about how much money a YouTube video made. That she's been on YouTube for a long time. But here's the thing about Shelby Church. She has become a great filmmaker. Her videos you can watch the evolution.
Gotten better, sure.
Really good. And I'm like, she's a filmmaker. So when you're celebrating a like editorial or cinematography or production design, the world that we live in a world of filmmakers, maybe not feature filmmakers, but people are making amazing things in 2 minutes.
It's true.
And the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences, the thing that they should be celebrating is tie in the fact that the universe, our world, is a world of filmmakers now. Let's celebrate the art of filmmaking, because you, who just made your last TikTok video, are using cinematography, editorial, sound design, production design, all of that. All of the awards that we give out are the best of the best. But you, dear viewers, you are making movies. So let us celebrate the art. And rather than cut 8 categories, I mean, the idea that you're going to cut student films or whatever, the Student Academy Awards, the thinking at the Academy level, what they're thinking, it's all corporate speak. Well, we need to make the shows more palatable. I'm like, no, man, you know what you should do? Make it a 6-hour show. You make it 6 hours and spend time explaining the art of editorial. And
I think it was Bill Hunt that said, well, the Super Bowl is 4 hours. At least, it's like you could go at least that long because it's the equivalent of that. It should, at least it.
Dude,
used to be.
You know what you got to do? You do tie-ins to everybody that's making movies. You make the art of cinema the thing, and whether you're making a 2-minute TikTok video or something else, tie it all in. But they won't. This thinking is wrong because at the corporate level, corporations are 20 years behind the times. And they're looking at analytics, and they need people to tell them what to do.
But in a way, I think our thinking in a way too is and Rob, go take a bathroom break for a minute. I'll handle this. But I think in a way, because of the era that we came in, we're also a little behind the times I mean, you less true. But we hold on to it more because it was the things that inspired us, and we hold them near and dear to our heart, and we still pine for things that might necessarily not happen.
But I would posit this. I would say that I don't think that we're behind the times. I think we love a certain particular form, the feature film, and that feature film has been compromised. And the way films are being made has been compromised by corporate interests, and movies have become the studios. My God, Dave, we used to see great studio movies that cost 20, 30, 40, $50 million.
We used to see great B movies that were made for $1 million or less that were
in
fun,
the theater,
fun entertainment. Yeah, but now we can't, except for a couple things, like anomalies, like Studio 666, the Foo Fighters movie that
Have you
just came
seen
out
that?
this
I heard
weekend.
it's amazing.
I'm seeing it tomorrow.
heard it's a lot
I
of fun.
know the director is someone I know, BJ McDonald.
Mm.
So I'm really happy for him. But yeah, go take your break.
I'm good. I don't have to leave.
Oh, you're
right
good.
now.
You,
Yeah, I'm
well,
good.
Rob's bladder, his prostate is going, guys. He can hold it for a long.
It is not going, dude. Come
Rob,
on.
are you like Leslie Nielsen Creepshow? I can hold my prostate for a long time.
No, I just pleasure myself twice a day to keep everything working great.
I do too, but I still have to go when I'm on the nippy tummy. Anyway,
In a world.
let's see what people are saying. Well,
By the way, can I want to go back to Connie bringing up. So Connie, by the way, I'm gonna admit something.
You just showed Alien to her for the first time.
Yeah.
Last week.
Yes. So she loved it. I have to tell you, the version of Alien that I showed her was the
4K?
director's cut of it. Yeah, it was the director's cut of Alien.
I thought the 4K one was just the original.
No, it might be.
I hope so.
But I had never watched the director's cut all the way through.
I saw it in the theater.
It's more different than I thought it was.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really interesting changes. I think it's actually better. I was like,
I don't know if it's better. There's some cooler shots of the alien. I don't know.
But I mean, just
well, the nice thing is it's not. It doesn't. Unlike other cuts of other movies and stuff like that take away from the original experience, this does not do that.
No, and you would have to know Alien really, really well to. But I thought it told the story better. Now, the only thing, like, of course, the one thing that the director's cut does that's controversial is you see the egg sequence when she finds Dallas, and a lot of people they shouldn't have done that. But I have to say that it's interesting because in this version of the film, because I didn't see the director's cut in the theater. I've seen the original because I had the videotape when it came out. I've seen the movie 100 times.
I saw it because of Charlie de Lauzarica. We went to the theater and saw it.
This is the first time I watched all the way through it. But there's a lot of just character bits, little character bits. I thought it did a much better job of telling a story. But the funny thing about watching that, Connie loved it. And to see a movie aside from the computer displays, which betray the time at which it was made, that film is not aged a day. I mean, it really is an incredible experience.
And it's funny because when you really think of that movie, again, the story, I think, is very simplistic, like Chainsaw, which, by the way, Ridley Scott watched Chainsaw before doing Alien and using that as a basis to get the intensity and the feel. And I think in his own way, he did just that. I mean, again, Alien and Chainsaw are both in so many ways mood pieces. They really are.
Dude, 100%. And that's something else that's also missing from films. I mean, a lot of people, I honestly find there's a little pushback to the Batman amongst my audience and stuff. People and I'm like, I don't understand. We're basically getting the farthest end, the most realistic Batman, the David Fincher Zodiac 7 I can't wait.
It's so funny because I got to say this. It's the first Batman that I haven't watched. I watched one trailer.
Right.
I haven't watched anything else. They put out a lot on this movie too.
Yeah. Have you listened to any of the music score?
I've tried, but the thing is, again, what I've listened to is very sedate in a way, in the score that I've heard, and very romantic with the Catwoman theme and stuff like that.
The jazz,
which I like. Look, I really like that stuff, and I appreciate it. And the thing is this, I'm not against the movie at all. I love Matt Reeves. I think I think what Matt Reeves did with the Planet of the Apes, with the two Planet of the Apes movies that he directed,
Oh, yeah.
is fucking genius. So it's weird that I feel like I should be more excited for this movie, but I mean, obviously I'm going to go see it, but I'm not. I'm kind of like I'm good either way right now, and maybe it's just maybe it's just superhero burnout in a way.
Dude, there's definitely some of that. 100%.
And once I see it, I'll be like, this is fucking amazing because it's something new. The problem is the trailer that I saw and everything is like, this doesn't look like anything that new. The most exciting thing to me in it, from what I've seen,
Well,
and
it's
again,
still Batman.
and again, the most exciting thing that I've seen, and I've only seen one trailer, is Colin Farrell as Penguin.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Just because he looks I mean that makeup and that transformation is as good as Jared Leto in House of Gucci. It's
Yeah,
like
no,
it's
I'm with you.
it's sort of so that's exciting. But the thing is, there's no reason. It's like Paul Dano, everyone's great. Everyone's a great. So it's like, but it's weird that I'm kind of like, yeah,
Well,
I'll
no,
get to it.
I
I'd
think
like,
no.
yeah, I'll get to it where I know you guys are like, I'm there early. It's
No,
like
but-
you are counting the days. You're like 4 days out from
Yeah,
seeing this movie.
yeah, no. Well, here's the thing. Here's the way I think about it. It's another Batman, the most overexposed superhero of all time.
Right.
And the idea, like, truly, it's and now, I've been dealing with. First of all, let me just back right up and say, going back to Connie, I want to show her Aliens now and have the discussion
Wait,
because
Connie's never seen Aliens either.
no.
Connie, where
you-
where have you been? Where have you been?
Well, she's younger, dude. She's younger.
Right?
She's younger. She's younger.
But she's a fan of a lot of this stuff. So it's
Yeah,
so
but a lot of people. I mean,
No,
think about
it's so interesting that I mean, yeah, I know. I don't want to. I guess I don't want to think about it, Rob, because then I would realize. Then I realize my age, and then I would feel very
Yeah, but
old.
dude, here's the thing.
I mean, it's like
it's very funny. I was talking to my mom.
I'm actually really envious of Connie because you haven't seen Aliens, and you just have to show her the theatrical cut. Don't go that fucking director's cut bullshit.
Okay,
show her the theatrical cut. No, fuck you.
I have to say I don't agree. I don't agree. And by the way, I can't even to someone that's all history. So to talk about theatrical, what's the point now? The only director's edition of anything that anybody should care about is Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Crickets.
Because
Anyway.
you said the
I
words
know.
that are not supposed to be spoken on the
I know.
show.
I'm just saying. But no.
Connie's happy to tell me her life story.
Well, I mean, look, I'm a huge fan of her. She's delightful.
Yeah, she is. She is. And Connie, not only are you delightful and a whiskey connoisseur, but you are also scarily probably one of the most intelligent, scarily intelligent people that I've ever met. Intimidatingly intelligent. Because I'm kind of dull bricks. Anyway.
You said
but I'll still stand by the Aliens theatrical cut over the director's cut.
Look, it's fine. It's just you start getting into that. I mean, you have to remember when people haven't seen something, they don't know the difference. I would say this. I do the Aliens director's cut. I'm of two minds.
There's a couple.
I love the LV-426 scenes. The gun scene, I don't dig.
Don't dig. And the funny thing is with the director's cut, there's only one scene, and it's not either one of those that you mentioned that is worthwhile to have in the.
I disagree, but okay. What is the one scene?
The Ellen Ripley Burke scene about
Oh,
her
that
past.
yeah,
That's the only,
no,
and I don't want to say because Connie hasn't seen it.
yeah, she
So
doesn't.
it's
No,
like,
it's great. It's great. It's great. It's great, and that's a great story. But but I hope she comes over because it was so much fun watching it with her. Look, as you know, one of the great joys of our lives is being able to show people movies they haven't seen, and now
it's so exciting and it's so rare now. It's
yeah,
actually really rare to be able to. I mean, I was excited. I wasn't the one who introduced Connie to. I'm not sure. Someone on here said, "Connie, you got to watch Phantasm," and then she watched the whole series, and then she became a big Phantasm fan. And I'm like, that's awesome.
yeah. I mean,
Because to me, Phantasm, that's mine. That's my series.
Yeah.
Most people don't get it, and they certainly aren't like hanging around till Phantasm Ravager. And you and I both have one.
Dude.
I have a real metal one.
Okay, well, this is not metal.
Yeah,
This
I
is
have a
from the
metal
Arrow
one.
box set. And just saying.
Yeah, no, I have that one, but I have a metal one.
I don't
too.
think the angle of the blades is canonical. Just saying. I mean, you play a good game, boy, but the game is finished. Now dude,
it's never over.
One of the great things
I actually figured out a way where you can continue the Phantasm series.
Well,
without Angus Scrimm.
I still think that the Phantasm.
But then I feel, but then I feel blasphemous even thinking about it.
Yeah,
without Angus
I know.
Scrimm.
I don't want to.
But the lady in lavender is still alive, and she is the tall man.
Oh, don't no.
Yes,
I disagree. But I don't want to. I don't want to stifle anyone's creativity. I just want to say that my dad took me to see Phantasm in 1979 opening weekend, and I always had to bamboozle my father into taking me to see movies, and he would go, but Phantasm was the first of two movies he actually bought a ticket and came into the theater to see with me.
So awesome.
So there I was sitting with my dad. I was 11 or 12.
The funny thing is, you get Phantasm, and my dad takes me to Grizzly in the theater.
Oh, dude! Come on, man. William
But
Girdler.
we were from Vermont, so Grizzly made more sense.
Yeah. But I have to say, my dad, the graveyard scene with Tommy in the graveyard when the lady in lavender kills Tommy.
Babe, that was great.
Dude, I mean, we had tits in the first 5 minutes.
Not her tits, by the way.
Well, and my dad turned to me and said, he's like, Bobby, I'm gonna go smoke a cigar. Just come out when it's over.
Why was your dad was he from that age where it was like seeing breasts was like too much?
It was the death. My dad fought in World War II.
And that was
Tommy's death, man. In the graveyard.
And that wasn't even gory. And by the way, guys,
my dad loved tits, but he didn't leave for the tits. My dad was
it was the gore.
When Tommy died, and she pulled the knife up, and the wind is blowing. My dad lost it, man. He was like, I'm gonna go, and well, here's what was great about my dad. I'm like 12, 11 or 12, I don't remember, and we're in Phantasm. My dad bought a ticket, and he's having a problem with seeing it. He never thought, well, my son might be traumatized. My dad's like, no, I'm traumatized. He loves it. I'm gonna allow him to watch Phantasm in the theater. That was my dad. And now let me tell you what's really interesting about that, speaking of what we talked about earlier. So 2 years later, 1981, I get my dad. I'm like, so Dad, I got my friends. We got this movie. It's Friday night. We're going back to the Crossroads Theater, the same place I saw Phantasm in 79. And
81.
And 81, and my dad's taking us. It's rated R. We're going to take you to this movie. My dad's like, what is this movie? I'm like, Dad, it's called Escape from New York. And my dad's like, well, what's it about? And I go, well, I said, Dad, the poster, it says, New York is a walled maximum security prison. Breaking out is impossible. Breaking in is insane. And I'm like, apparently the president... That's what I told my dad. And so we get to the theater, and there's me and four of my friends. And my dad's it's so funny. He's thinking about it. And he's like, would you mind
Sounds
if I came
good.
and saw the movie with you boys? And I'm like we didn't give a fuck. We're like, some dad brought us to my dad. I would bamboozle him. We're like 13 years old, whatever, 14. I don't think we were 14 yet. But my dad has taken like the 5 of us to see an R-rated movie, and he'd buy the tickets and we'd get in. And my dad's like, well, I'd like to say it was the only time other than Phantasm my dad comes into the theater and he's watching it, and he watched the entire movie with us. And when it was over, my dad's like, that was pretty good. I mean, he loved it. My dad, and for that was the tacit approval of my father. I mean, my God. Now, also in 1979, my whole family, because it was Star Trek, went and saw Star Trek the Motion Picture.
So did my whole family.
Yeah, and I was like telling him, so like after it was over, my mom's like, that was nice.
I didn't get the first one. It was seeing Wrath of Khan with my entire family. I was like, no.
Dude, I saw Star Trek the Motion Picture.
The first one is an acquired taste, sir.
Dude, I saw it 13 times.
Yeah, I didn't.
I kept going.
But that's the most that I've ever seen a movie in a theater. It was 13 times.
I really felt that Star Trek the Motion Picture was,
and it wasn't for Star Trek.
Well, yeah. I mean, but I do feel like for me, I was learning how to jerk off and watching Star Trek the Motion Picture at the same time. I kind of think there was a correlation between the two.
I think yeah, that shaped your life.
I was 12 years old. What can I say?
I know. Anyway, you'll be very proud of me. So I'm going back for CK's birthday. I sent him the Blu-rays of Prince of Darkness and In the Mouth of Madness.
That's a great double bill.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I was like, and he hasn't seen In the Mouth of Madness before, so I was like, all right, you got to check this one out. It's funny where what he's gotten me into now. What I do my Sunday ritual now in the morning is watching.
Uncomfortable was this Hebrew ritual.
Is watching Charlie Chaplin movies in the morning.
Wow, good for him.
So he got me into watching Charlie Chaplin movies in the morning, and then now I'm sending him like Carpenter movies that he hasn't actually seen.
Well, you can watch The Great Dictator and be like, yeah.
It's very prevalent now. Yeah, for sure.
By the way, Tommy Martinson says...
Tommy, isn't that a Japanese horror movie?
No, it's Tommy Martinson. Tommy is. I just want to recommend The Eighth Night on Netflix.
Never heard of that. A
Korean horror film from a first-time director. It's a 2021 gem. Incredible visuals and atmosphere. That's cool. I'd watch that. Mario Lopez, who is a longtime supporter of the channel. Mario, who we saw today.
Well, I love him on Saved by the Bell. So, yeah.
That is not the same Mario Lopez. Come on now.
We can't be on Entertainment Tonight then?
By the way, Mario lives in Portugal, and if we ever get to make like a horror movie like Dagon, we can go to Mario's house, man. We can make
trust me, I will go anywhere in the world, almost anywhere in the world, to make. I would love to go anywhere besides America to make a horror movie.
I know, well, it's the best, but Portugal.
I've
always wanted to go to Portugal, and after
I want to go to
Dagon,
Portugal. I want to go to Brazil. I want to go to Chile. I want to go to Scandinavia.
Portugal's. Here's the thing. Here's what I want to do. I want to make another movie and go to Sitges. Then we go to Madrid, and then we go on to Portugal. We go to Portugal. Come on.
It'd be amazing. It would be amazing.
Amazing. And when I saw Dagon, because I think they shot Dagon in Portugal. Didn't Stewart shoot it there?
Yes, he did in a fishing village town. And that movie, if you guys have not, there's a great Blu-ray of Dagon, Stuart Gordon's Dagon, out now through Vestron Video Blu-ray, which is it's a packed. That movie's incredibly underrated.
Incredibly,
I mean,
great.
It really is. It really is his Shadow over Innsmouth kind of movie.
Totally
and Dagon, yeah.
But hang on. So Mario says, and this is a good point. I don't like extreme violence in movies. And a good way to avoid that is in True Romance, where we see James Gandolfini and Patricia Arquette, but they alternate all the violence with the Christian Slater scenes. That's actually a really good point.
It is, but the thing is this.
There is a
That
director's cut of that movie too.
But the Gandolfini fucking Patricia Arquette stuff is pretty fucking brutal, even in the regular theatrical
Yeah, it
cut.
is. No, it's true.
So I get it. I love the fact that you like non. And here's my feeling too. As much as I have a bloodlust, and I love watching gory things, which is probably why I like the Chainsaw movie, because it is very gory, and I think a fun way, which probably says more about me being deranged.
Yes.
If you can do it without the blood and guts and the gore, and you can make it that intense and visceral, I'm so on board with that. If you can do that without doing it, way more on board.
Well, it also depends. I mean, for me is, look, I love gory extreme violence if it's appropriate. What I don't like is when stuff goes over the top, unless it's part of it. It's all about tone and form and what it is you're trying to achieve.
Well, to me, a perfect example. Again, a movie that people think is very gory, and it's very visceral, is Cronenberg's The Fly. I think the parts that get me the most was the nails. Because I think you know why? Because it's relatable. Everyone can relate to the feeling of the nails falling out or the teeth falling out. It was like always with Demons, which is a particularly gory movie, but it was when the teeth were coming out. And
because you're absolutely right. Hey, listen,
because you have these anxiety nightmares about it.
Dave, take this over for a second.
Okay,
please pontificate.
We're staying a little longer, guys.
Yeah, is that okay with you?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, good.
I can't wait to talk to these people, my people. It's been so long. I'm glad you're here. Dieter, I don't know if you were making fun of me or not that I can send stuff. Well, I had to. It was a process to send stuff to CK. Actually, they fucked up the first time. It became a thing. So I don't know if you were making fun of me or not. Yeah. Now you can ask me questions, but don't ask me about Rob because he's boring. Come on. The Fly is great. The Fly is one of the greatest films ever made. But I remember also someone saying something about like gore and stuff like that. My thing with gore is it doesn't bother me because I understand the technical aspects of it. So that's why it doesn't bother me for the most part, unless it really like hits something, which Charlie the Unicorn goes, which Fly movie do you prefer? Well, Cronenberg's The Fly is the greatest Fly. But I do like The Fly too, even though that is probably a shockingly gory R-rated movie. I don't know how they got the R rating with that, but that's kind of a bummer in some ways. But The Fly 2 is actually pretty entertaining for just a pure like visceral monster movie. But it's always going to be Cronenberg's The Fly because again, there's the character and emotion with the story, which is amazing. Okay, Dieter. Good to know. How about who making the Hellraiser reboot, Dave? Well, I know the writers of the Hulu Hellraiser movie. I don't know how I feel about it, honestly. I know that I know Pinhead is going to be a sort of non-binary kind of thing, which is fine. Hellraiser is a hard one, though. I don't know. It was so shockingly original, in my opinion, when it came out in '87. I'd never seen anything like that, but I was too young to know about S&M and all that shit. So maybe that's why. Hellraiser needs to be epic. It's on an epic scale. And if the score isn't there, if Christopher Young scores in there, I don't know if it's Hellraiser to me. Dieter, I'm glad you like TCM too. I just had fun with it. So there you go.
I'm back.
I'm not overthinking it. You are back.
Is
Rob,
Dieter here? Were you talking to Dieter?
Dieter is here. He liked TCM. He liked the new TCM too. You can chastise him in the morning.
I'm
but
not
Rob,
gonna chastise him.
But here's an interesting. What do you think about the new Hellraiser, the Hulu one, not the series that's coming, but they sort of have now done Hellraiser.
I haven't seen it.
Well, yeah, of course, hasn't come out yet.
Oh well, there. Look,
but Pinhead is now like a non-binary. I think it's being played by a trans person.
Okay. I mean,
I'm just like, fine, do what you want, but if you don't have Christopher Young score, then it's not Hellraiser.
Well, yeah, I mean,
that's that simple.
I think people kind of miss the point about one of the things I love, and first of all, let me just say, in 1987, when I think about the significant horror of the 80s, Hellraiser is a huge high watermark for me.
It's a pillar for it's a pillar for everyone. In
Not
1987,
like the pillar in Hellraiser 3, but a pillar, yes.
Yeah, but no, I mean, I was telling them, I was like, well, I didn't know what S&M was. So when I saw Hellraiser, it was like it was a completely original new thing to me that I had never known about before. So it was exciting to me. It was one of the most original visions I'd ever seen.
Oh.
And to top it off, I got to say, again, for that movie especially.
Oh, what's going on? Hang on. Yes.
The music made it so much more. And then, of course, there was Ashley Lawrence, who then I got to know pretty well.
I remember that.
I got to know pretty well, which is amazing because we were at full moon and she walked into our edit bay and she just started talking to me. And I'm like, oh my God.
Wait.
It's like,
Jared,
I know who you are.
Did you tell people I wear a wig?
No.
Oh.
No, I didn't say anything about
By the way, this is all real, bro. This
no,
is real hair. I know the color is a little weird these days.
It's real. It's real and fucking gray.
I have a lot of hair. So
he's very hairy. Rob is very hairy.
No, I'm not really. Look,
no, I have
no hair.
He's very smooth
at all.
I know
I'm so smooth because I manscape.
No, he's a boy.
Anyway.
Wanting to be a girl. No, I don't. Anyway, not
that there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah, Paul in Long Beach. Yeah, I'm actually I'm taking care of some business, Rob. I'm really looking forward to the Foo Fighters movie Studio 666.
Yeah, I want to see that too.
I kind of like look. I wish I was Dave Grohl because that's a motherfucker who can just like come up with something and then it happens. And I'm kind of I guess I'm kind of lazy because God damn it. It's like a heavy metal horror fucking movie. It's like, I mean, people look, my existence now, Rob can attest to this, is me watching other people make the things that I want to do and going, I don't know how I'm ever going to make anything ever again. And, you know, some of these people were like, oh, we got to do our crowdfunding movie. It's like, yeah, but, you know, maybe 10% of you would give $10 and we'd have 30, you know, to make a movie. And it's like, that's just not going to work.
By the way, Tommy Martinson says, FYI, in the original novella, the Hellbound, he says the Blackened Heart, we know as the Hellbound.
The Hellbound Heart.
The Cenobite in later stories gets the name Pinhead, is described as an androgynous with a highly pitched female-like voice.
It was known as the lead Cenobite. It was never, Pinhead was a name that was thrown on by people watching the movie. That was a pure Pinhead. The name was a pure fan creation.
Well, hang on. I just have to say, wait.
The Hellbound Heart, yeah.
Yes. Geek of One says, Rob, we were talking about you jerking off to bald chicks in public theaters. No need to be self-conscious. It wasn't that. I was jerking off to the entirety of Star Trek: The Motion Picture, not just Ilea. I just want to
Oh
be
my
clear
god!
for that.
So for 2.5 hours,
Oh yeah, dude.
I hope
Dude,
I hope you had good lube.
no, I was the ultimate
Because
edgelord. Come on, dude.
oh my
I
god,
was.
not
I
at
mean,
12. At 12, your last 12 seconds. Give me a fucking break.
no way,
Don't
dude. Are
fucking.
you kidding
Oh,
me?
shut
You
up!
want to talk to my
Shut up!
girlfriend at 13?
Yeah,
No,
yeah,
no,
yeah.
no.
No one's gonna believe that. Then you had a problem. You had a problem if you lasted more than 12
Hey
seconds
man,
at 12.
I might not, be digging tunnels because I have the equipment I have is not that big, but I would just say,
You didn't know what the fuck you were doing at 12. Don't fucking. Oh,
are you kidding? I was
fucking.
reading Graham Masterton's The Manitou and Revenge of the Manitou.
That you know
He
what?
taught
Trust me.
me things.
That does not tell you how to
Horror
masturbate.
fiction. I'm just telling you. Horror fiction was where I learned all my goodness. By the way,
Oh
Connie
my.
Sang says another bottle of Rittenhouse and Aliens at the New House, Reggie for life. Well, we'll
Reggie
still be
for
here for a
life.
couple. You should come over in the next week or two and watch Aliens. That would be the last movie that we watch because I'm packing up.
Yeah, Rob, I don't want to sit on your bed with you and Connie. That's a little weird.
No, she doesn't.
Because you guys watched it in your bedroom.
Yeah, we're the big yeah.
It's a little
but
weird.
Elizabeth and I are watching on, but she's sitting in a chair. There's chairs. It's like a home theater.
Well, yeah.
experience.
If I'm there, then where's she gonna be sitting? It's just
You're welcome on the bed, Dave. Come on.
Oh, I know.
So I want to see The Eighth Night with Tommy Martinson, but so
I'm gonna look that up. That sounds cool.
It does. Sound cool. So I mean, let's go back to
in summation.
Well, no, but I'm just curious. I mean, so you and Dieter, my favorite trash panda. You guys you had a good experience watching.
So
I
guess we like. I like trash, man.
No, I wouldn't. But I wouldn't say that. Look, I wouldn't say a Netflix movie that they spent $20 million on is trash.
But it was Netflix. It was a Netflix pickup.
But Dieter, if Dieter was here, maybe we should have Dieter come on and he can explain the difference between good trash and bad trash.
I think I know, since I make both.
Okay,
since I've made both, it's like. But you can have Dieter on if you want. You want to give them a little taste of what's to come this morning.
Well, I don't think that I have to say that I kind of am disappointed in I think Dieter Bastian. If I was a Svengali and I was able to take credit for finding a great internet personality. No offense, Dave, because you're a great internet personality yourself. But I would say that Dieter Bastian has become the great surprise of my life in terms of...
Well, yeah, because you know why you do your show during the day and everything, and you get more super chats.
That is not
That's
true.
why. That's why you're saying
I didn't start this channel to get... If you think that I base anything on super chats...
I think you started this channel to make money. Why would you do this? Why?
Well, there's an economic
Demi, why would you
aspect
do
to it.
this to me, Demi, if you want to make money?
Why, Demi, why do you leave me this way? I mean, look, well, why does anybody do anything? But I have to say that I don't make that much money. There's a lot of people that make a lot more money on YouTube than me. I think there's an element of fun.
That's
to
true.
It as well.
I wish you would make more money because then I could have my prize.
Yeah, there you go. I will. Yeah, well, that things are changing, Dave. Things are changing. I don't know if Dieter Bastian wants to come on.
No, he doesn't. He was like, no time, have to go.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. Hey, Chad Joyce, don't be such a prude, Dave. Pump up the brakes, man. Tell me what you mean. Tell me what you mean, Chad. You think I'm a prude? Trust me, man.
I don't think you're a prude.
Give me your home number. I'll tell you I'm not a prude. No.
Toffee20 says, I had 2 girls in my bed at 10. They were 13 and 14. Is that legal?
Oh, Jesus. No, God.
Well, Toffee, I don't know.
I don't know.
Tommy Martinson says, another recommendation, 2021's The Spine of Night. Animated rotoscope fantasy horror movie in the vein.
I've heard of this. I've heard of The Spine of Night.
A lot of people have bought it. By the way, that was kind of funny. That what was he was saying, but yeah, I mean, The Spine of Night It's been Dieter bought it. Tom Jr. Jackson bought it. I haven't bought it. I'm curious to see it. I want to see it. I think it'd be great. Why not?
Chad, get in bed with Rob. Come on, man. Like I haven't already been.
I know. Come on. Dave and I have been in bed together.
Come on, Chad.
Many
Come
times.
on. Come on, Chad. Get
Come
with
on,
the
you guys.
times.
Yeah. What do you think?
It's not of the times,
We're
baby.
progressive, man. It's all good. I mean, I don't understand why that would be like shocking. We all get into bed with each other, right? It doesn't matter whether it's Arcturian, baby. There's an alien line for you.
Oh,
So,
aliens from Frost, baby. That's right.
Dave does not need to go under the blankies.
No, I'm better on top. I'm better on top always.
Are you a top or a bottom?
I'm verse, but more top.
All right. Okay. You're a director. That makes sense.
Okay.
Anyway, so Don't Kill Me is a good new Italian horror film on Netflix.
On Netflix, I've seen it on there. I've seen it on there, and I've looked at it. But that's the thing, I think the other thing is there's so much. When here's the thing, Rob. I have Netflix, Hulu,
right?
Which No Exit is a new movie that is getting a lot of good praise. That's on Hulu right now.
Yep.
I have Shudder, which has got
Right.
a ton of fucking shit all the time. I can't keep up with everything.
No, and Shudder's doing a pretty good job. I mean, I'm
and I have Arrow also.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yep. Well, so okay. Let me ask you this: in a sea of streaming, what is it that makes you decide to watch a horror film? What is the promise a trailer or marketing or something has to make to get you to watch it?
Yeah, most of the time, with the exception of one of these sort of event things like Chainsaw, most of the time it's very random, and I just sort of like check out a trailer and like, oh, that looks cool, I'm gonna watch that.
Right.
If it's a series, that's a harder sell because it's more time commitment, and I start feeling guilty if I start watching something that is long form. I'm like, I like watching something that is like hour and a half. That's what I also like about this new Chainsaw movie. It's fucking 81, 82 minutes like our movie was. It was like you're in and out and you're done. If it starts getting longer, I feel like I should be doing something else. So
really,
like, yeah, I feel like I should be working on something than watching something for 6 hours. So I start feeling guilty. Sean Passmore said, I just watched Studio 666. What'd you think?
Yeah. Did you like it?
Yeah.
Is that streaming or is it in the theater?
Only in theater.
Tom Jr. Jackson says, let's cut down on the underage sex talk. It's freaking out Dave.
Yeah, well, as it should.
Yeah, man, let kids be kids. I just want to watch illicit horror
Yeah,
films.
and not speaking of kids, not what's his name? The guy directed the movie Kids, not his kids.
Oh yeah, Harmony Korine. Whatever.
No, not Harmony Korine.
That was different.
Larry Charles.
Larry Charles. Larry Clark.
Yeah. Larry Clark. Let's not. Yeah. Dave wrote a graphic novel. I'm on it. Let's go.
Can we talk about something that I really want to complain about that I haven't told anyone about, that I just want to... So everyone knows that Haribo gummy bears are some of my favorite things in the world. So this is a Haribo Gold Bears.
That's a 2-pound bag of gummy bears.
It is. It's a real... But here's the thing. So for a limited time, they have put in these party hats.
Oh.
Okay, so now I'm going to give you all a little insight since we're talking about. So what I like to do with Haribo gummy bears is sometimes, so for those of you who don't know, these are the only gummy bears I eat. And if you look at them, right?
Yeah, the red. I only like the orange and the
Okay.
pineapple ones.
So here's an orange. These are just the regular ones.
Oh, it's my favorite.
So what
right
I
there.
like to do, and judge me if you want, is I like to 69 them in this format. So I sit because they fit together. If you 69 them, and you
Of
put
course.
okay, you put them in your mouth. All right, okay,
Yeah.
all good. You 69 the Haribo gummy bears. I do not like the fact that I don't understand what they've done. So for their 100th anniversary, they have decided to include birthday hat gummy bears, or not? They're not even bears. Birthday hats.
Blue. What flavor are they? Blue raspberry.
Dude, I don't quite know, but here they are. Okay, they're triangular. They
cool
kind
with
of
this.
look like either.
Wait. Now clear your mouth first of
Mouth
the
is
gummies
clear.
that you have.
Yeah.
Now try that one and tell me what it tastes like.
It tastes blue ice. But here's the thing, Dave. The point that I want to make is it doesn't
This is
fit.
important, people.
You can't 69.
You can't 69.
The hats don't go together.
I'm sorry.
It's a whole different vibe, and there's a lot of them in the bag.
Hey, Sean got back to us about Studio 666, and he said it was B-movie glorious.
Well, that's great.
Can't wait. I cannot wait. And Rob.
By the way, Haribo, Pat Finch says it's a German company. I know. I mean, yes, I've been eating these my entire life.
But Rob, do you know who? You'll be excited about this.
Aren't you upset that they've besmirched?
No, I'm
my
not.
favorite candy with
no,
these weird
I
blue
can't.
hats.
I can get over these things very easily.
I
do you know
can't.
who
I can't let it go.
Do you know who did the effects for Studio 666? Your former boss, Tony Gardner.
Oh,
Alterian did the makeup effects.
I love it. It looks great. I can't wait to see it. But is it only in the theaters?
It is only in theaters. Only in theaters.
I want to go see it.
No
I can't
streaming.
Wait. Love it.
I think I'm going to go see it tomorrow.
Oh, nice.
I'm really excited. No, I'm excited. Yeah. And the funny thing is, Dave Grohl is a huge horror fan. Didn't know that.
Dave Grohl's also a great showman. I mean, his ads where he's cooking for people, and he's been on a lot of. He has a new book out.
I read it.
Oh, was it good?
Oh, I read it. It's amazing. Dave Grohl, storyteller, amazing. Yeah, you want to? Yeah, amazing. Of course. Yeah.
Good.
What do you read? What are you reading right now?
I am reading Neil Stephenson's science fiction novel Termination Shock, which is about global warming. It takes place in a future where the Earth is in the grips of global warming. And the opening scene of that book was really interesting. A plane was landing, and wild boars have become a problem because of global warming, and a plane crashes because wild boars run into the runway right as the plane is landing and cause the plane to crash.
Cool. So it's Razorback on a much bigger level.
No, you're just wild boars because of global warming. It was. I mean, it's so far it's really interesting. I just started it, so yes,
awesome.
Neil Stephenson.
Hey guys,
Snow Crash, Termination Shock.
There you go, guys. What do you want to talk about? We're here. We're here for you for just a few more minutes.
Wait,
so bring it up.
Albion says that it's nearly 11 a.m. on a Sunday, and Sunday morning here, the 69 talk is a bit inappropriate. Okay, look.
Well, where are you, Albion? We're out.
The talk is
it's
I'm
not
putting
11 a.m. here.
I'm putting these gummy bears together in a 69 position.
But it's too reds. It's like you're not even mixing colors, dude. You're so Puritan.
Well, they were the last ones I had in my hand.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, he didn't pick. He couldn't have had a red and orange. No, he had to pick just two reds.
I already did that. You already saw me do that. So,
Someone's a big fan of Rob on John Campea. The Unleashed version on here is amazing.
I love that. I love like this Star Wars figures. Rob Burnett Unleashed. Well, let me just tell you, we've done a lot of these shows where we've been unleashed. So it's good. Look, I'm having so much fun on John's show. I think the show's really good now. And
well, yeah, you know why? Honestly, I think it's great that you're in there, but I think it's John's brother-in-law that you like.
Ray,
you guys vibe together so great. That's actually I think what makes the show really the show.
I love Ray.
He's very funny.
He's so funny, and he's very witty, and he says things that are, there's a lot of insight into what he says, but also like he doesn't know it sometimes.
But he's a service guy like me. He's like, chainsaw. There's a guy. There's the fucking big guy with a chainsawing people up. I'm happy. There we go. No, there's no super chat, Stubble Miche. No one gives a fuck about paying us anymore. God damn it. Sean, what are your guys' thoughts about the band Ghost? Love the imagery. I don't love the music. Sorry. It's too sort of operatic, melodic metal for me, and I'm not really into it.
By the way, Charlie the Unicorn.
Connie saying says 69 is actually tame for the show. You're goddamn right, Connie. It sure is.
Well, Charlie the Unicorn says, Connie, pegging is where it's at. That's
fuck
true
you.
If it's done well. I mean,
what Rob? You've never been pegged. You've never been pegged. You've never had a girl with a strap on fucking peg you.
Wow.
Don't give me that shit.
Well, not that this is that kind of show, but you're wrong. But anyway.
Oh shit.
Just saying.
Oh. I've never been pegged, guys.
Who doesn't like ass play? Who doesn't
I'm not saying it, but I've never been pegged. I want to talk Long Night.
What does that have to do with that? Wow, that was a divergence. I mean, wow, okay. I was just reading what Charlie the Unicorn said.
Well, Charlie, you're starting shit now.
No, it's fine. I don't,
No. Anyway.
We'll tear your soul apart.
You'll tear your ass apart.
Not if it's done well.
I guess you're using a very small peg.
That doesn't work well, but whatever. It's all good.
Oh my god! Wow.
How's your?
Here's a little.
Here we go again.
It's a little. How's your father?
Look, like everything, all you have to do is you need to bring the skills and you need to bring the equipment and everything you need to make sure you can do the job well. That's all I can say.
Tommy Martinson says band recommendation Sabaton. I know about Sabaton. Yes.
Corey says, "Are you going to open the chat for others to join because I have some things to say?"
No, we're not because it's almost 3.
Yeah, we got to go.
I've actually given them another half hour.
Yeah, another half hour. Well, Dave, I mean,
that's going to be extra. That's going to cost you more. Rob is on the payment system now with me. This is why I'm here.
It's going to cost you more. No,
it's going to cost you more, Rob. Oh yeah, it's going to cost you.
Why go pegging
in the chat?
People don't understand. When two people are lovers, it doesn't matter. You do whatever.
Torn between two lovers,
or one lover,
treated like
or let one lover tear you up, depending.
Oh God. He told us in the chat one night when you were talking to a guest, and for months pegging was a topic in the.
It was.
I don't know about this pegging thing. I mean,
people do it. It's fine.
If it feels right, do it.
Let's just say I learned everything I know about that from
I like Jared Speed. Why go pegging when you can just go gay? Because some people don't like the natural feel, Jared.
And also not all gays, not all people who are gay like pegging.
Well, why would they like pegging when they can have their real thing?
I meant penetrated, I guess I should say.
Yeah, it's different. Pegging is different than penetration.
It's a whole
I mean,
different.
it's similar, but it's different.
Yeah, it's all different.
One's au natural, one
Geek of One
is
says Peggy Carter.
you
More like,
wish.
wow, Geek of What? You know, this is taking a turn.
Yeah,
Look,
I know.
let's
Anyway,
just say that if you have somebody that can bring
hey,
you extreme physical pleasure, that's one of the greatest things you can give to another person. If you can be open and honest about whatever you guys can do with one another, great.
do it. Do it with consent. Do it with love. Do it with
And
gusto.
skill and aplomb.
Well, yeah, at least know what you're doing if you're going to do whatever you're going to do.
Mm.
And you know, we'll review and accept all resumes and offers.
Yeah, you know, it's all good.
Peggers can't be choosers. Oh, you're fucking wrong, Tom. Oh, you are wrong. Well,
So
another night, another
let's
glorious midnight metal.
it always ends this way. But no, I think we've had a pretty erudite discussion about the Chainsaw franchise, and I would ask you at the end of
That's ended in pegging, which seems so appropriate for Chainsaw. Toby would be loving, loving it.
Yes. Gosh, I thought we'd be able to hold it together here, and
yeah, we are.
Okay.
But
Rob, Starship 66 Starship Alien says Rob and Dave's OnlyFans coming soon to a theater near you.
No, sir, no.
Yeah, I mean, OnlyFans is so anybody can have OnlyFans.
Yeah. And someone asked, wait, Jesus, what was thoughts on Red Letter Media? Can you what's Red Letter Media, Rob?
It's Mr. Plinkett. You know, they've done the great reviews of the Star Trek: The Next Generation movies.
I wouldn't know because I don't understand those words.
The Star Wars
those
movies,
words I don't know.
Red Letter Media is one of the guys, Mike, and they're one of the great sites on YouTube in terms of nerd culture. And I first discovered them. They did a review. I'm sorry, Dave. I'm going to say it again. They did a review of Star Trek Generations.
You can't.
Their insight and they basically destroyed it.
And, I mean, that's great because I don't know what those words are.
Their reviews of the sequel, the Star Wars prequel trilogy, legendary.
I honestly, guys, I don't know what Red Letter Media is. I'll look into it.
They're really great.
We got one more super chat from Chad Joyce.
Joyce says,
"Thank you, Chad. By the way,
thank you. Yes, Chad says many say it's all about story and character, but what of Eraserhead, 2001, Beyond the Black Rainbow? Maybe story and character are not always the end all be all."
100% agree because 100%. I 100% agree because the Texas Chainsaw Massacre is not about story and character.
Well, what's interesting, okay, I always say on this channel that storytelling is all about story and character, but I don't necessarily think cinema is, because a lot of the time, cinema, which is a visual medium, can be not necessarily focusing on story and character, which are literary conceits, whereas cinema is visual, audio, and it doesn't have to be based in literature, whereas story and character are. So I think your examples of 2001 and Beyond the Black Rainbow and Eraserhead are great examples of what cinema can do when it's unfettered, when it's untethered from literary storytelling.
But the thing is, they're all he's bringing all very unconventional movies as example.
Right. Well, you're
incredibly
right.
Unconventional. Stubble McShay did ask though, which I thought he was like going, "What do you think of the Baz Luhrmann trailer for Elvis?" fucking amazing.
I thought so too.
Amazing.
Yep.
But Baz Luhrmann is fucking amazing.
Yeah, he is.
Rob and I are the only ones who agreed that Australia is a fucking really good movie.
Fuck yeah, thank you, man. I fucking love that movie.
It's a great fucking movie.
It is. It's really good. I really liked it. I thought it was really good. Ash Chowan says Pete Hammond of Deadline had his Batman review leaked. Uh-oh. He calls it a winner and a detective movie for the ages. Said he never had to look at his watch during the 3-hour film. My excitement is through the damn roof now. Well, that's good. I mean, Pete, look, everyone, I have never had a movie ever.
If Matt Reeves could, if anyone is going to do Batman as the detective, Matt Reeves is going to be the guy.
Agreed.
Who remembers Hell Comes to Frogtown? Fuck yeah,
Come
of course.
on,
Donald Jackson, Roddy Piper, Sandal Bergen. I have that Blu-ray.
And
I
Sandal
love
Bergen
that
was,
movie.
of course, in all that jazz, and Conan.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There we go. Rob.
So Dave.
It's 3:06.
It is 3:06. It's time. I got to get up and stream with Dieter.
It's time. Dieter needs you. Needs you fresh.
Well, Dave,
fresh and pegged.
I want to. To be honest, I like a good rim job before the pegging. That's just me. But
who doesn't?
I know, right? You got to be skilled. I want to thank everyone for watching the show. Dave, first of all, I want to thank you for coming back for the first of our monthly Midnight Metal shows.
It's kind of cool that we're doing monthly because then I can, guys, I'm telling you, look up this band, Bloodywood. I'm telling you, this Indian band. I'm telling you. And then I'll go on social media and send CK Smile a happy birthday today because it's his birthday.
Yeah, and tell him Midnight Metal sent you.
Sure.
And
sure.
I want to thank everyone for generously supporting this channel via super chats and tips. I want to thank all the members. We had a great member chat today. If you're a member of the channel, every other week we do a.
That's cool. That must be daunting, though.
Well, no,
that's a lot. That's a lot of people.
It was, but it's funny because there's a lot more people that support the channel than come to the member chats. I always wonder. I mean, I love seeing everyone, but we have this great community, but there's not a lot of new people, yet new people become members of the channel. And I understand people want to be anonymous, and I'm just happy they support the channel, so thank you for that. But it was great. I mean, we did a 3-hour chat today. You can watch it live. It's on the channel. You can see what that's like, so thank you all. But
6 Starship Alien, this is not going to be a weekly stream. It's not. He can't. Rob can't afford it. It's a monthly stream.
Yeah, no, I'm paying Dave. I gotta pay it.
It's a month. It's a monthly.
It's good, Dave. I mean, our livers couldn't afford it either, so it's better.
Well, that's true because we're so responsible when we're not on camera.
Well, that's true. No, but this was fun, Dave, and I think that it was a great topic. You suggested it a couple weeks in advance, which is not something I normally do. I love the fact that I could think about it and do some research, and it was good, really good. And we had a movie to watch.
Bottom line is the new Texas Chainsaw Massacre rocks. Go watch it now.
Oh man, it's everything wrong with modern culture, but it's
I've been waiting 50 years.
Yeah, like we're watching
to see him again.
We're watching 80-year-olds fight.
Leatherface.
Aztec Aguilar 04 said Pacific Rim Job. If you look at my Twitter feed back on I was talking about that, 8 years ago now, or whenever it was, 6 years ago now.
He coined that term so long ago.
So long
ago. He started in that video so long ago.
But it's true.
But you have to pay extra for that. That's the super Patreon.
Not with me,
account.
You don't.
Anyway. All right.
It's true. I'm old. What can I say? I can't make sex jokes anymore. It's terrible. Michael Elliott says, ain't too proud to peg.
Oh, God.
It's so funny, you guys. I mean, it's just another... Wow. How's your father said, I was expecting Dave to hate the Netflix Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Well, I'm sorry, I didn't.
Well, Dave,
And there we go. Yeah, let's wrap it up, dude.
I'm gonna let
Let's go.
you go. All right,
All right.
and I'll be back at 11 o'clock, which is what 7 hours from now, 8 hours from
Yeah.
now,
Yeah,
eight
good
less than
sleep
8 hours
time.
from now. I'm gonna go get some sleepy time.
Get some
Come
Z's.
meet Dieter Bastian and I tomorrow. We're gonna talk a little physical later today. Talk a little physical media. Dave, you and I will be back in March, and I have to say,
Yeah.
hopefully, when we do our next show, I will be in the new Robservatory.
I might be there. I might be there doing it
Well,
live with you.
I'll tell you something.
Potentially.
I'll tell you something. The new Robservatory, thanks to Connie Sang, has a mixing board and will have new mics, so we can
Woo!
actually do the show live and maybe come out,
Yes.
hang out. We'll do the show, and you'll just spend the night, and we'll not that we will
Peg?
peg. No. But I
No,
don't
we
think
won't
you and I.
peg.
We don't. You and
No
I
pegging.
really wouldn't have to peg. We didn't.
No, we wouldn't. We
We have
could
the-
dock. We could dock,
We
but
can
we
dog,
can't peg.
yeah. But no, I mean, in all seriousness, I mean, you're a sexy man. I have no problem with that, as you know. But I think that you should come out and we could do it live, or we don't have to do it at midnight.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, cool.
No, we couldn't. But we'll figure out something. Maybe we'll do a birthday show because my birthday is in April. Maybe
Yeah.
we'll do that.
That'd be fun.
But yeah, thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. Thanks for sticking around with us tonight. And Rob, I will talk to you soon.
Thank you, Dave, for being here. Tom Jr. Jackson, thank you for moderating, and thank you for everyone who is a fan of this channel. Remember, Dave, every person you meet, say it with me now, has a story to tell that you have yet to hear.
Or mosh with.
Or mosh with, and all you have to do is peg with them.
And get in the pit.
There you go.
Good night, guys.
Good night, and thank you all for being here. It was awesome. Thanks, Dave.